It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Stacey Higginbotham is here. Aunt Pruitt's here. Filling in for Jeff Jarvis. The great Jason Howell. Microsoft's got a new Android phone. We'll talk about that. Facebook's got a new portal. Amazon has a new Kindle Paperwhite. A little postage stamp-sized solar panel. And why Lithuania says throw away those Chinese phones. It's all coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 630, recorded Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021. Did you plug it in for Tofel? This Week in Google is brought to you by Compiler, an original podcast from Red Hat, discussing tech topics, big, small, and strange. Listen to Compiler on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And by Modern Finance. Are NFTs here for the long haul? Which cryptocurrency is a fad? How does decentralized finance work? Modern Finance Podcast, hosted by Kevin Rose, looks to answer these questions and many more about the investment marketplace. Download and subscribe to Modern Finance wherever you listen to podcasts and get ahead of the future of finance. It's time for Twig, This Week at Google, the show we talk about the latest from the Googleverse and the worlds thereon. With us, Stacey Higginbotham from StaceyOnIoT.com, the IoT podcast. Hello, Stacey.
Hello, y'all. Oh, here, let me.
No, why? Why?
Well, because I don't need them for doing this.
Glasses make you look smart.
Well, you know I'm smart.
I know, that's true. You don't need the glasses.
It's overkill.
It's over. Now you're too smart.
True.
That's Aunt Pruitt making sure
Yes,
Leo stays in line. Twit.tv/hop.
That's right.
And community manager over at the Club Twit.
How you be, sir?
You
You
are-
wide awake? Because you had to get up bright and early today.
I've been here. My fourth show of the day.
He's running on fumes,
Cranking
folks.
it out.
I'm
This is gonna be a
expecting
good
some
show.
punchiness.
I don't know why, but I'm always punchy on this show. This show is the punchiest show I do. It's my Friday. It's my Friday.
it's
It's
your
your
last show.
Friday afternoon show.
Makes sense.
I usually have a six-pack right before the show, and
I've
seen the
one-pack
beer
today.
bong. No. I've seen the beer bong in your office. I know.
okay. So Jeff's not here, but Jason Howell is sitting in for Jeff Jarvis. Jason Howell from All About Android and Tech News Weekly, and our producer, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Because
So I'm going to be doing double duty. I'm going to be talking
Taking
sometimes,
notes?
and then I'm going to be taking notes. You know, that's how I
he
roll.
warned me earlier. He said, "There's nothing to talk about." I said, "Welcome to Twit. We don't need anything to talk about. It's that's part of the fun of it." Actually, I was up early, 8 a.m. my time, 11 a.m. Eastern, for the Surface event, Microsoft's new Surface event. And, they announced new laptops and stuff. But one of the things they did announce that I thought was interesting, they came back and did the second version of their folding phone, which, to all reports was not a huge success first time around. But Microsoft's decided they're going to try again. I bought the original Duo a year ago and returned it within a couple of weeks. I think they have a 30-day return policy, which is good because it was $1,500. Got my money back. But this one answers a lot of the concerns, the complaints we had originally. For one thing, it has a decent camera system this time. 3 lenses, telephoto, medium and wide. They look like a decent camera. It's not going to be. Nobody's trying to keep up with everybody's trying to keep up with the iPhone, but nobody's succeeding. But I think it'll be okay. They're also answering another qualm people had, which is when it was closed, it's a 2-screen device with a hinge. So it's like a little book. And when it's closed, you had no indication about what was going on inside. So they've solved that by adding a little bit of a screen on the edge there to let you know what time it is, how much battery's left. If you've got notifications, it'll even signal as if the phone is ringing. They've added NFC, which it didn't have before. It's a fast processor, 8 gigs of RAM, 888 Snapdragon. So in every case, they've upgraded it significantly. And it's running Android 11. Oh, Comes out October 21st. Oh, 12 will be out by then, right, Jason?
12 will just be out by then. I mean, the guess is that 12 is going to be out sometime early October, but that's like, the initial launch. I kind of understand when a hardware company releases a device within the first month of a brand new OS. Although it is pretty amazing when a new device actually launches with the brand new OS. That seems like a missed opportunity sometimes. I think the big deal here, and realizing that like I'm merely a third person observer of the original device of this. I think I pawed at it a little bit, but I really didn't get a whole lot of firsthand experience with it. Is the processor, because my understanding of that first device,
it was an 855. It was terrible.
It was, and I mean, I think why this is good is because we're starting to see these foldables actually come out with the top of the line processor, which I think is really important. Before they had to kind of ramp things down. Maybe it's a cost thing because these things were going to be expensive no matter what, and so to kind of bring that cost down to a more palatable place, they ended up, ramping it down with processors, saying people aren't getting this because of the processor. They're getting this because it folds, and that's pretty cool. Now they're finally saying, well, wait a minute. These are freaking expensive devices. We should make them, be able to stand up to the best devices out there. So I think that's really good that they're doing that here.
As you saw when she holds it to her head, it's a little bit.
I was going to say she did that wrong because nobody that age holds the phone that way. They hold it like this.
They're talking
no one puts
into
their
it.
phone to their ears.
Well, actually, I meant to ask you because you're the only person I know who's under 80. Is
Jason and
I know I'm teasing. It's a joke. Under 60. I was watching Billions on Sunday night on Showtime, which is back, and it's one of my favorite shows. They all have surfaces everywhere. But what's interesting is nobody would ever make a phone call on this show. Well, there are a few people, old people, were holding the phone to the ear. In every other respect, they were doing, video calls, FaceTime or Duo or something like that. A lot of that. Is that just a TV show trying to show off Microsoft hardware, or do people actually do that? Young person.
I don't see any. If you hang out with young people and they're actually forced to talk on the phone, and this is this is not something they do voluntarily. They do this if they're talking.
Oh my
and
God!
This if it's a video.
They're talking into the bottom of it.
Oh yeah, my daughter, like when she sits there and I'm like, okay, talk to grandma. She's like,
why are they doing that?
Hey, grandma.
Why are they doing that? Is that from watching the Kardashians too much? Why are they doing that? That's a weird.
My daughter has never seen the Kardashians.
I hate to break it to you. Old folks do that too. They hold it the same way.
It's true.
Because
can I explain,
my
folks,
parents do.
why people hold the phone that way? On TV, on the reality shows, they hold the phone this way so that the camera operator, they put it on speakerphone so the camera operator could see their face and hear the call. It's completely an artificial thing that was started a few years ago for reality television, but apparently people have decided this is the new way to talk to the phone. But everybody hears your darn call.
Grandpa. No. You're on your headset. So you're talking. And what happens is you're on your headset. You'll talk to them if you have to like this, but you're also like looking stuff up on your phone because they're usually like texting you pictures or something that's happening.
Oh, okay. So that's different. So they're talking to the microphone because they have headphones in.
Do we need to explain to people who are listening to the show what we're doing?
We're talking to the butt of the phone. Sideways.
My parents are talking to the butt of the phone. That's how they talk. When I'm on the phone, 90% of the time, I've got an earbud in, and that's how I'm doing it.
You're not even. Because if you have earbuds in, you got a microphone. You don't even. You can put the phone down.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Full mobility.
I'm confused.
But we're old-ish, sir. We're not old.
Yeah, and my daughter, if she doesn't. The only people she talks on the phone to are my parents. Like her friends.
Nobody else calls. Yeah.
Right.
We text.
Right.
We text. For some reason, my 29-year-old daughter is old for her age because she says, I don't like to text. Can I call you? And I was like, no, I want to text. I don't want to call. It's hard to call. I don't like being on the phone.
So daggum cool, sir. I got to tell you. She's pretty daggum cool.
She's very cool.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She duoed me today, and that was okay.
That was a breakthrough.
So I'm thinking, so by the way, I ordered the Duo, I'm embarrassed to admit, on Windows Weekly. But I did it last year and returned it. If you have a fairly flexible return policy. I think it's 30 days. Don't quote me, but
I got to tell you, when you returned it last year, it hurt my heart because I thought that thing had so much potential.
Close. It hurt my heart.
But it was, but when you returned it and told us about how clunky and bad it was, it really hurt my heart.
It wasn't a hardware
problem. A nice device.
It was a software problem. They didn't, they had all this promise with the 2 screens, and very few apps used it. Some, like the Kindle app, you could turn a page like you were reading a book, but it didn't work well dragging things between. And for instance, when you open Google Maps, where the hinge was, Maps thought was a screen. It thought it was on a big screen. So there's a portion of the map obscured by the hinge, instead of just using 2 screens. But that's things that can be fixed. And my hope is this time. So I wanted to give them another chance. That's why. And it's going to have a good camera system this time.
Still pricey, but it's a nice looking piece of hardware.
Well, and $1,500 isn't as expensive as it used to be. I mean, the iPhone was $1,200.
What was the Samsung Galaxy Fold? How much was that?
That's the same price. Actually, it's $2,000.
No,
okay.
No, the Fold is $1,800 for the Z Fold. For the introductor, for the baseline Z Fold 3, it's $1,800.
I have too many phones at this point, but I feel like, I should probably check them out. I'm not going to get the new iPhone because I don't think I need to. But I got the Z Flip, remember, the foldable, and I like that a lot. I'm sure I'll get the Pixel 6.
You can tell me you're not going to start shooting in ProRes?
No, I don't care. No one's going to shoot in ProRes. That's one of those things that they put in there and everybody gets excited about and then nobody uses. I never used Dolby Vision the whole year that I had it on that 12, so I'm not too worried about that.
But
you have to be a
TikToker. In Premiere or DaVinci Resolve and try to.
No, I don't want to do that. You know, if I shoot video, it's just little clips of things that were happening, and it's more for memories.
So I'd like to see what our wonderful editor, Mr. Nielsen, would do with the new iPhone.
But he has a real camera, right?
He does.
So he's going to shoot with a real camera most of the time.
So I'm going to argue right now that phone cameras can be real cameras.
I agree
Not simply because I bought into the shot on the iPhone commercials, but I just think, again, the camera you have is the camera that is going to work. And you could do a lot of really cool things with editing software and the existing cameras.
You agree, Mr. Photographer? Answer, resident 100%.
Photographer. There are things that a phone, and I'm not just saying iPhone, a phone just not going to be able to do that a regular, even APS-C camera can do. So, but that's not to say that the phones are just total crap and not useful for photography, but they're quite capable, especially with computational AI built into them, so it's just going to make things a lot easier, and they'll still look pretty good.
You didn't like the white balance of the picture I took with the flip. You didn't like the white balance. You said it's blue.
Hey, well, that was user error. That wasn't
user
the
error.
You should have seen that white balance.
Burn.
That's what I was getting ready to lead into next. Is Apple, Google, and Samsung, they do all these amazing ads and they look great, but they never really specify that the people operating those phone cameras are pros. They understand that they need to have a certain type of light here or some backlight there, and understand focus pull and stuff like that. So that's why I said Mr. Nielsen, him holding that iPhone would be pretty daggum awesome, because he gets it. He knows the craft.
Right. Well, and I think a lot of times, as you say, they bring lights along with them if they're shooting for Apple. And so it's not really a real.
I mean, it's not even just lights. It's like, stabilizing equipment. Although now they have, onboard, stabilization on a lot of these devices. But
I think
it's rigs. It's rigs that, you have this tiny little phone. It's like the center point and this huge rig behind it. Like, it's a lot of production.
I think it was the Pixel 4, but with Miss Annie Leibovitz. When she was the spokesperson for it, and they did the little B-roll of her shooting this beautiful fashion shot outside and whatnot. And if you paused it, you would see that she had a case around her phone for handles on the side, because you can stabilize better that way, and if you're more stable, you're not going to get a bunch of motion blur and crispy shots and stuff. But that's just little things that most people don't tend to think about. They just figure, it's an iPhone, it's the Pixel, it's going to look good as soon as I click shutter. Not always.
There's one thing I like about folding phones. I liked about the Galaxy Fold, and I think I will like about the Duo, is that bigger viewfinder. So when you open it up, and you're taking a picture, you do see more of the picture. Maybe I would notice that the white balance was off and fix it. That kind of thing. I don't,
I mean, you looking at that viewfinder, you should have seen that the wonderful, beautiful Miss Lisa Laporte had bluish skin tones. Come on, man.
I thought she looked good, but all right. Just shows what I know. Anyway, I ordered one of these.
Blind.
Love is blind.
Yes, right.
My wife is
Love
blue.
is
What are you
colorblind.
talking about?
Okay.
She's not blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Next time Queen Pruitt comes up asking me how something looks, I'm going to say, I'm blind. I love you. Good.
All right, I'm going to show you the picture. It's a little blue. I admit it now that you told me.
See?
But I wanted to see the red of the tongue. I was going for the red.
It's beautiful saturation, but white balance is off.
I could have fixed the white balance. I just didn't.
You are of discriminating taste, though, and you recognize this. Me looking at this photo, like I see it when you mention it.
Yeah, I see it now,
normally,
unfortunately.
Without being told about it, I probably would. I would probably be so focused on the sharp red that the blue
the tongue
tint
pops.
I wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, that saturation is beautiful.
Well, that's what I was
looks
really kind of showing. This is the Galaxy Flip Z and Flip 3, and I didn't really pay any attention to the white balance.
That's okay. I know you're subscribed to twit.tv/hop. Okay.
I do, and I'm learning. I'm getting better.
But, just real quick before we move on, and one thing that you mentioned, is that there are certain things that real cameras can't do can do that smartphones can't do. The reality, though, is that for like 95% of people who are buying these phones, what the smartphone camera can do is like way better than what real cameras, like what they could even get out of a real camera if they had a real camera, because they're just not used to using a real camera or even knowing that it could do these things. So,
I agree,
they've come
100%.
a long way.
I agree 100%. Computational photography makes stuff so much simpler. It's literally just tap the shutter, but again, there's going to be some nuance on certain shots that the phone's just not going to cut it.
Well, and that's why I think everybody, even Apple phone users and Microsoft Duo owner. Duo is both a Google app and a neighborhood phone.
When's the trademark battle over that going to happen?
Anyway, Microsoft Duo owners all are still thinking, well, let's see. In fact, Mary Jo Foley even said that. I think my phone's going to be the Pixel 6. We're all waiting to see what Google does with the Pixel 6. For the first time, we saw an image of the Pixel 6 in somebody else's hands, not in Google's hands. And really? it looks like it's got a shiny back on it, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty glossy back.
We also got a possible launch date, right?
Jason, what's the launch date? Do we know? October 19th?
There was something, I think I saw something along those lines from an Australian ad or something like that. I can't remember. I didn't look into that exactly. Someone in the chat is going to probably link us to it. But, I mean, my understanding is that, this is going to come late October, like mid to late October is about the time. So we're about a month out from seeing the Pixel 6 based on what my understanding is.
Yeah. This
is going to be a very expensive October because I'm about to upgrade and I need to get a new MacBook. And so I'm like,
I know. This fall is always so this is we don't, know the provenance of this, but this is the leaked video of what is not a release version of the phone, right? This is a manufacturing prototype to show, a test, I think. Mm-hmm. But yeah, shiny back. There's that big, talk about camera bump. Google's, embracing the camera bump. So
I was about to say, at least they made it interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's also saying, because they didn't do anything with the camera last year. That's why I stuck with the Pixel 4. I didn't get the 5. They're saying, I think, not so subliminally, pay attention to the camera because we're going to update this one. So that's what I mean when I say even Apple fans are waiting to see what Google does with the Pixel 6 because they're the kings of computational photography, I would say.
Really? Really, even Apple fans?
I think even Apple fans. Mary Jo Foley was saying, she's no Apple fan, but
she said fans, not sheeple.
I think everybody, even Andy and Nako, even on Mac Break Weekly, Renee Ritchie said he's going to get a Pixel 6. I think people understand that when Google flexes, not when they're taking the year off like they did last year, but when they're really pushing the envelope, There is nobody better. Now, Mark Lavoie, who was the king of all of that. Remember when Mark Lavoie did get his amazing talk to Google I/Os ago?
Adobe, I believe.
Yeah, he left and went to Adobe to work on their software. But he was the king of computational. He was the only good thing in that Google I/O keynote 2 years ago. But he was great. And I think Google really has a lot of scientists working on getting better images. And so I think we all want to see what Google does with the Pixel 6. Don't you?
I do.
Yes, I've got my money ready.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are standing there. Yeah. Take my money. The Pixel 6
I've got Leo's money ready. But,
Jason, I like your strategy.
If you go to the New York Chelsea store, you can apparently see a Pixel 6 in the window.
Yeah, in the window. Yeah.
So there it is. You know what? That's a nice back of that kind of that shiny, creamy, looks like ivory almost back.
Is it tricolor?
Yeah, look at that.
Pink on
Little
the
kind
top?
of peach top, the black bar where the camera bump is. Goes all the way across. They're so proud of the camera bump, they've lined it in metal so you don't miss it. And then that creamy body. I think
it's a signature. Yeah, it's a total signature, this device. And I really like what Google's doing and continues to do as far as their marketing. They had said earlier this year, I mean, even a couple of months ago, that the push for Pixel 6 was going to be their biggest hardware marketing effort for one of their phones. So we expect that Google's going to go big and go all out for this. But we're seeing all of this push, billboards, promo videos, this thing in New York City, and it's coming out like a snowball. It's building. We're seeing all this before they've even officially announced the release date or anything like that. I don't know. I like this approach that Google's taking because it really does put the power into their hands. It doesn't stop any of the leaks, as you just showed. There's somebody who has the hands-on video of it, but at least gives them a little bit more control over it instead of letting just the fan base go wild with it and make all sorts of assumptions.
It's kind of just...
There was a suspicious DHL delivery from Mountain View, California that led to that leak, sir. That's all I'll say about that.
Oh.
Well, say more. That may be all you're going to say about that, but I really want to know more.
I still think Google's behind these leaks.
Yeah. Well,
they might as well.
Marketing push.
They might as well lean into it because it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
So
who leaked it? Was it a reputable place?
Mountain View is where Google is what Anna's
No,
saying.
I meant. So who posted the video? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know who the source of the hands-on video is.
These last 2 years have been these random YouTubers or content creators, and
because those people. I mean, like you would. Go on, Ann. Sorry.
I think that there's some help from Google itself, especially when they're I want to say the last 2 were channels that were in Asia somewhere or based in Asia. So they have access. Okay. This is where you are.
And the video that I showed on Twitter, the symbol on the back is not the G. That's a test symbol. So that was a manufacturing test. These are pictures from the Google store in New York. These are real.
Oh, okay, yeah, that.
So the 2, there's one with 2 cameras and there's one with 3, as you can see. That's kind of the new thing. Apple's got 3 on its Pros. And what they tend to be is an ultra wide, and normal or long.
A telephoto.
Yeah, in fact, the only reason I would consider getting the new iPhone is it's a 77 millimeter effective. For the telephoto. That's just right for portrait. Yep.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about colors because they are two-tone. The one on the bottom has an orange top and I guess pink on the bottom. Then there's cream and buff. So they are kind of subtly two-toned.
Yeah.
I kind of like those. Yeah, I think they're pretty. So these are close-ups of the phone floating in space in the store. I like that orange. What do you think? I like it.
I like the orange too. Yeah. The problem is the orange is only on the 6 and not the 6 Pro, from my understanding.
Oh, I want the Pro.
If you're getting the 6 Pro, the 6 Pro seems to have more muted color choices than the 6, and I think that's too bad because I like the boldness of some of these colors.
So the Google styling reminds me, and I'm going to bring this back to fashion for a hot second, what Catherine Hahn wore at the Emmys.
What did Catherine Hahn wore at the Emmys?
So you gotta check out.
Was she the one in
Google
the bathing cap and the rubber gloves?
No, she wore L'Envers. I can't ever say it. But it's a black thing with this giant fat belt. And every time, like the second I saw that, I was like, oh my God, she's like the Pixel 6. My husband was like, you are such a nerd.
Well, wait a minute. Now we got to take a look. It is a big belt. Oh my God. The enormous chunky belt. Here we are. Look at the size of that thing. I don't know what that reminds me of.
See, you're never going to be able to see that and the Pixel 6 together again.
Oh, I love Catherine Hahn. I know who you mean now. Yeah, she was.
It's hilarious.
Agatha.
She was Agatha in the WandaVision show. I guess that's what she was nominated for. But she also did a wonderful miniseries on HBO where she played. Well, I can't remember the name of it, so I guess I'll stop. But nice. I like the big buckle. She looks like she's a tiny, tiny person with a watch band around her.
Exactly.
That's making.
I know that's silly, but I have to. We talked about fashion. I'm going to start making it a regular thing in there.
Okay.
Right, keep going.
Stacey's fashion update, and then people are going to say,
fashion moment of the day.
Leo, you're so sexist. Why do you make the woman do the fashion update? you know that's going to happen.
Yeah, and then you just tell him because Ant couldn't do it.
Ant wanted to.
Look at him, clearly.
I wanted Ant to do it, but So the other rumor that is very interesting, we talked about this last week, the Jumbojack was
Jumbojack. What a name.
The code name for a folding phone that apparently Google plans to announce next month. What do you think, Jason? What's the all about Android take on that?
I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily next month. I don't know that we have that definitively, but the sources or the people who are coming out and saying, yeah, this is happening, are saying by the end of the year, we will have this. So, I mean, on one hand, it makes sense that it would be next month. On the other hand, we've seen absolutely no leaks outside of like little bits of information. I just don't trust that Google is that good at keeping a secret like this. But
why would you announce Pixel 6 in October and then 2 months later announce a Jumbojack?
You're right. It doesn't make any sense. It would absolutely not make sense for them to have an announcement / release in December because they're going to want to capitalize on the Christmas the Christmas shopping season. So I don't know. Apple does the thing where they do the phone right now, and then a few weeks later they do another hardware announcement, right? Maybe Google takes
did the same
a page out of that book.
So I'm gonna go on record saying this is one of those rumors where somebody's got it wrong or somebody saw something in a lab, but Google has no intention of releasing it. Here's Evan Blass's tweet. Heard from somebody I trust that the foldable Pixel, codename Passport, retail branding unknown, will indeed launch before the end of the year. Apparently, they've been working on this device for over 2 years, and if the P6 is any indication, it'll be worth a look.
You know what? I would say, okay, let me just devil's advocate here, not in the jerky way, but in the just throwing this out.
You mean the way I do it? Yeah. Go ahead, do it Stacey style.
I hate when people say that. You're going to say something really offensive.
Let me play devil's advocate. But you smell like a ripe orange. No, go ahead. I don't know what that means.
People who spend crazy money on these folding phones, I feel like they're early adopters, they're tech nerds. Google will probably have a replacement, a trade-in type of program. And there are people like you, Leo, who are like, hey, I'm going to buy 6 different phones this year because I want to see what's happening everywhere, right? So I don't think they're releasing this with the expectation that it's going to be like their number one selling phone. I think they're releasing it as a launch that we're in the folding space. Here's our vision. And then next year you'll see something probably more mainstream. Does that make sense? I think that's totally plausible.
Could be.
Yeah,
could be.
Well, we'll find out. According to Tom's guide, the date is October 19th. So we'll find out not too far from now, 3 weeks.
I cannot wait.
That's the thing. I'm honestly thinking even Apple fans are saying, well, I'm going to have to get an iPhone because I'm in the iPhone universe. But I really am curious what the Pixel 6 is capable of. Apple certainly set a high bar. The low light photography in the new iPhone 13s are, from all the images I've seen, the reviews came out yesterday, and the images are spectacular in low light. Just amazing. So we'll see. We'll see. Hey, all I could say, it's a good time to be buying a phone.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a bad time to be a phone reviewer because you got a lot of phones to buy.
It's hardware season right now.
Man.
It's hard out here for a hardware reviewer.
Hard.
It's hard out here.
Wipe that sweat from your brow, Mr. Howell. It's okay.
I'm doing my best to keep up.
Hang in there, sir.
My thumbs have RSI injuries.
Hey, let's take a little break. We got lots more to talk about. Thank you, Jason Howell's filling in for Jeff Jarvis, who is he traveling? Jason, where is he? Is he?
Yeah,
is
that's
he?
a good question.
We don't
I
know.
can't
He
remember.
just said he
told me
couldn't do
was
it.
out.
And Stacy, you're going to be out next week.
It's actually the 13th.
Oh,
Am
okay.
I out next week? Jason, did I say I was out next week?
Yeah, no, you're not out next week.
Jason knows all.
I will step in here and say, no, it's not next week. It's the week after, the 6th of October.
No. Did I say the 6th?
That was the one, that's what you said in the email.
Oh, it's the 13th. No, it's the 13th.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, I'll fix it, Jason.
It's okay.
I'm already putting it in the doc.
It's not a big
cool.
deal. Not a big deal.
I don't need my parents are coming in town, and so y'all are fun and all, but I got to hang with my folks.
Got to do it.
So anyway, Jason's here for Jeff Jarvis. Aaron Pruitt's also here. Stacy Higginbotham. She's not sure if she's here, but she might be here. She thinks she's here. It's probably next week she's not here. Oh, no, wait a minute. It's the 13th. So it's good to have all three of you. Our show today brought to you by a brand new podcast from Red Hat called Compiler. Actually, Red Hat's some really good podcasts. I was thinking of their other show, but I want you to listen to this new one. Red Hat does the Command Line Heroes show, which is now in its new season. This is the first season for Compiler. Angela Andrews, Brent Simoneau host it. They're great, by the way. And I love what they're doing, which is taking the questions from the internal messaging at Red Hat, things people are talking about on, I don't know if it's Slack or Mattermost or whatever they're using, but the things people are talking about and then turning them into podcasts. It's really, really good. They're short, sweet, interesting. I just listened to the first episode. They're all about 20 minutes long. Should managers code? Should managers code? So this was a hot topic on their internal message board. So they decided, let's do an episode where we ask people at Red Hat what they think. They talked to the CFO. She said, no, absolutely not. Once you're a manager, you got to avoid getting sucked in by your coders and your direct reports and writing the code yourself. Just like a parent should never do the chores for their kids, you gotta manage. And then we heard from another manager who loves coding so much that he's been doing the advent of code because he misses it. He's doing coding problems. And then another manager said, no, you got to keep your chops up. You got to code. It's an interesting debate. Should managers code? That was just episode 1. They have many, many episodes. They're up to 4 now, I think. The most recent, Do We Want a World Without Technical Debt? That's a very interesting topic. They go deep. You'll be amazed how much you can get into 20 minutes, which makes me wonder why we go for so long. How do you, they've went on, this is one everybody's going to want to listen to who's in the tech industry. How do you interview for a technical position? Red Hatters who got through those technical interviews often say, the whiteboard interview is a terrible idea, but on the other hand, there's some value to it. If you're looking to get into tech, you'll be interested in episode 3. What are tech hiring managers looking for? Episode 2. What can video games teach us about edge computing? Big topics, little topics, fascinating stuff. The episodes are out now. You should definitely subscribe. The show is called Compiler, Compiler. You can listen to Compiler on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to podcasts. We'll also include a link on the show page for this show, so you can just go to twit.tv/twig and find that link there and go right to it. I think it's a great show, and I think Angela and Brent deserve a lot of credit for having put together a unique and interesting way of thinking about some of the big issues in tech. Compiler Podcast. Learn more at red.ht/twit. We thank Red Hat so much for their continuing support of our podcasts. We're really glad to share the wealth and tell you about Compiler. Let's see. This is a product I will not buy, You don't hear me say that very often.
I've heard you say that before, and it was totally false.
And then buy it.
This one I don't think I'd have any use for. It's the new Facebook Portal, which they're kind of turning into like an Echo Show or a Nest Hub. The Portal Go is $199. There's also a Portal Plus for $349. These the Go actually has a charging dock, so it's got battery. You can carry it around. It's a 10-inch screen, 1200 by 800. It can be used as a portable speaker, but of course the main point of these portal devices is as for video conversations. So, and what's interesting, and I didn't realize this, I had the original Portal. It's out I keep trying to give it away. Nobody wants it.
I notice it keeps getting closer and closer to the studio.
entrance. I put it at the front door. Somebody put it away. That's not. I don't want Facebook in my house. I don't mind Amazon in my house. I don't mind Google in my house. Facebook, that's a road bridge too far. The new Portals do have built-in lens covers. And there are buttons at the top that disconnect the camera and the microphone. One of the things they did do very well in the original Portal, and they still do well, it's a very high-res camera, 12 megapixels, but it's got an ultra-wide lens on it. So what they can do is zoom in. Everybody's starting to do this now. Apple's starting to do it. I know it works in my Nest when I do a duo call. They zoom in. It's called smart camera technology, and it follows you around the room. It pans and zooms to keep you in frame. Apparently, the microphone and the speakers in this also do something similar. So as you move around, your callers can still hear you clearly. And more importantly, maybe, because this is obviously designed for Facebook Messenger and Messenger video, they're also adding support for other video conferencing technologies, which makes this a little bit more desirable, including Zoom. Let me see if they do Google Meet.
It's not for you, but it's shaping out to be a nice product.
Yeah, GoToMeeting,
Facebook
BlueJeans, WebEx, and Zoom.
It looks like they're trying to get this into small businesses more than people. Like because they have the pro version that's a little more expensive and fancier. So I wonder.
Oh, that's interesting.
Again, if I were a business, but I don't know.
$349 for
that's
that
for the
Portal
Pro.
Plus.
Yeah.
And so this is like, I haven't had any firsthand experience with these devices. It is primarily video conferencing because I'm used to seeing these kinds of devices and Google's Nest Hub. Yeah, you can video conference on it, but it's also an assistant portal. A portal, no pun, no reference intended. But yeah, I mean, it does all these other things. Is this primarily just like here's a clock on your home screen and
it's
then
got a calendar?
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly for video calling. I mean, it's an interface to Facebook. Facebook, if you're in a Facebook group, you can use it for that. Messenger Rooms. There's Spotify, so you can play music on it. But I completely agree with you. I don't know why you would prefer, unless you're all in on the Facebook ecosystem. Seems like a Nest Hub would be much better, or an Echo Show would be much better.
So the Echo Show, they have the Echo Show 10, which is the one that actually has the rotating body that the original Portal had.
That's so weird.
That's $250.
The original Portal did not
brilliant.
do the same thing. It did not move. The new Echo Show has a servo that moves the camera around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Portal,
it was
Portal
that
same thing. Sorry. It was super wide, and it would, without following you.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's actually a really interesting thing happening. So if you look at iOS 15, one of the things that's now out, I believe, is you can send me web links to your FaceTime calls and I can get them on my Pixel, which is, something that they promised and never delivered. So I think there's a big rush right now for obvious reasons to get into accessible video calling for everyone and to have a dog in that hunt. And so I think it makes sense that Facebook's adding more to this, even if it doesn't really make sense that Facebook would want to have this device. So,
if you're a business and you use WebEx or Zoom, which most businesses do, right, or GoToMeeting, your calendar's on the screen. You tap it. The Portal Plus has a 14-inch screen. It's a very big screen, so you could even have it in a conference room, I think, and tap it, and now you're in a video conference. I could see why you might add that, but again, if I'm a business, just the name Facebook on the front is going to turn me off. Mm-hmm. I think.
Well, I don't know. Some businesses may feel that way, but a lot of people, that's how they drive their businesses, the Facebook platform.
Yeah. A lot of normal mom and pop shops. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I go to a local store and I go to their website and it's basically
right, and it's Facebook.
Find us on Facebook. And you're like,
Okay, well.
sorry, that was a little excessive there.
I'm not a fan of it, but that's the reality.
They must sell them because they keep working on them. Yeah,
yeah. That's my
friends,
curiosity.
He's now retired, but his bulk of business came from Facebook referrals. He was doing computer repair stuff, and he did it for several years. And he had a website. He understood the value of a website and proper SEO and things of that nature, but Facebook was his jam. And he tried to get me on it years ago and did nothing for me, but works for him. So have at it, brother.
Yeah. Amazon has announced a new Kindle lineup. Just, you could thank me because I just bought a Kobo. And and of course, Amazon immediately announced the new Paperwhites. 6.8-inch screen. That's nice, although I got the Kobo with the 8-inch screen because I want a little bit bigger screen. USB-C, I'm very jealous because that is a much better way to charge. They've had, up to now, it's been that horrible micro USB.
That's the only thing I charge on a micro USB now.
I know. So it's
I've got
time.
That one charger.
Time they did that. 2-year worry-free guarantee warranty. You could pre-order today. Ships on October 27th. I guess that's the whole thing. The Paperwhite has a really good screen. I have one of those. I also have an Oasis. So I'm kind of a Kindle fan. That's why I thought I'd try it with a Kobo. Ad-supported version, $139.99. You just get an ad on the start screen. It's not very intrusive.
I kind of love the ads on my Amazon store. My husband, I thought I would hate it, but they're the cheesiest freaking books. I love it. He's a Navy SEAL. She's a Scottish heiress. Together, they're forced to work and they hate each other. Meet in another international foreign mystery romance.
They're gonna fall in love. It's waterproof, which I think is a nice feature. That's why I got the Kobo, because I could take a bath with it. And you get 4 months of Kindle Unlimited for free when you purchase it. With ads, $160. The Signature Edition has more storage. Kindle Paperwhite, 8 gigs. Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition has 32 gigs. And that, by the way, is a massive amount of storage for ebooks.
Yeah, for ebooks.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're doing like graphic novels.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I think I have like 2,000 books on my Kindle, and I am nowhere near the storage cap.
The only reason I wanted to try the Kobo, which is, by the way, owned by Rakuten now.
That's right.
Which is a little odd, is because I was very interested in the fact that it supports Overdrive, which is the library software that a lot of public libraries use. I was able to sign up with the Sonoma County Library online. I didn't even have to go into the library. I'll never see a library, and I can get books and audio books free. They're just like library books, though. You have to, send them back. They return automatically after a period of time, and you have to wait.
And you can manage that all through the Kobo itself, because I use an app called Libby.
Right.
And
I was going to say.
Same kind of thing. But then I have to send it through, and sending it through to my Kindle sometimes involves me then logging into my Amazon account on my phone. It's by no means like a single button device on the Kindle itself. So that would actually be pretty cool to have it integrated like that.
Yeah, I'll do a little review when it comes out, because that's what interested me on it. Also the waterproof, although now the Kindle immediately after I ordered this came out with a waterproof version. And it also does portrait as well as landscape as well as portrait, which I think might
that would
be
be
nice.
Interesting for novels, and how I have a couple books that are terrible on the Kindle,
right?
Like cookbooks.
Yeah, yeah. Anything with illustrations. I have some chess books. When you're studying chess in a book, they have diagrams of the board. And on some of them, the production is so screwed up that the diagram is just tiny. You can't zoom it. It's not like you zoom. So you're like, that's useless. I can't even read it. So we'll see. Kobo, you have to buy through the Kobo store if you want to buy books. But since it supports the library and it supports EPUB and it supports Dropbox, I have a lot of books that I bought, from various publishers in EPUB format. Not the proprietary Kindle format, so I can put those on here. So that'll work out pretty well. It's a little more expensive than the Amazon. I think the Amazon is somewhat subsidized by Amazon itself.
Just a bit.
Just a little bit. Just
to corner the market on those ebooks. Yeah. I will say, if you want to feel angry at Amazon, look at what they're doing with libraries and Libby, and the kerfuffle that's happened. The
What's going on?
That has Libby. Well, as Libby has made it much easier for people to borrow ebooks from their library, Amazon is actually starting to make it so some of the books that are published under their imprint, their ebooks published under their ebook publishing imprint, don't go to libraries. They're just like, screw it, we're not giving it to you. Yeah. It's pretty. I mean, the major publishers are already doing windowing, and they're making shorter. Oh, there you go.
This is a story from March. Yeah, that's too bad. It's kind of funny because we just have this long tradition of libraries buying a few copies of a book, keeping it in the library for people to get for free. Mm-hmm. And I think the notion of a free public library is definitely a societal good.
It's essential to the democracy.
I think so, because not everybody can afford to buy a book. When digital came along, it became a little bit more complicated. So I'm looking on Overdrive, which is the software the Sonoma County Library uses, and I wanted to read Isaac Asimov's Foundation. I don't happen to have a copy. I read it when I was in high school, and it's coming out on Apple TV Plus this month. So I looked and it said, we have 3 copies and they're all out, and it's a 6-month wait. It's just exactly like or 6-week wait. It's just exactly like the library. They have a limited number, even though they're digital, and they could, in theory, have infinite copies. But that's how they've handled it, is to make it just like it's a real book. I think that seems fair.
So it does. Okay, so the other governing thing is they can only, when they do this, there's 2 types of windowing. When you buy a digital copy, you can only lend it out X number of times. So then they have to buy a new copy.
Because a real book would wear out after
a regular book.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's part of the deal. And then the other part is there's a time constraint on some of them now too. So this is a problem if you want it, like Foundation, maybe not because it's super popular, right? People are always going to want to borrow that. But some books that are maybe less popular, they'll go out of the time limit for lending those books out, even if they haven't met their number limit. Yeah. And so I encounter this when I find, if you're looking for a new sci-fi trilogy, as I want to do, sometimes you'll be like, oh, there's a third, the second and third. So where's the first? And then it'll be out of window.
Oh, frustrating.
So you're like, argh. I mean, and then you can go to Amazon and buy it, but
I have to think that it doesn't really cost authors or publishers much to support libraries, and there's such a benefit in society. I would hope Amazon would rethink its stance.
I mean, it probably does cost some.
There's a loss of sales. Yeah.
I read probably 2 to 3 books a week. And so I obviously would not buy that many books in my life, and I buy books by authors I like. I buy books if new authors, especially diverse authors, I'm trying really hard to spend actual money on buying their books, but I do read more than because I have very easy access to those books. I still would go to the library and pick them up otherwise. But I do think there's probably a overall loss in sales. But I also do it because ebooks are really expensive for what I feel like I'm getting, right?
They are.
Paying $12 for a digital copy of a book feels kind of like highway robbery sometimes.
Libraries also offer movies, digital for download, audiobooks for free. You should check your local library and see what software they support. I think it's Libby and Overdrive are the 2 biggest, right? You could read newspapers. And it's
magazines,
free.
Newspapers.
Yeah.
And if you go into the physical library, a lot of libraries are doing like CNC. They have like little electronics making stations. Some libraries have like sewing machines. It's actually libraries
smart.
are.
Yeah, that's so smart.
And it's not
3D
free.
printers.
We pay for it with our taxes. I mean, you should use them because you're paying for
That's a
them,
good
and you
point.
should value them.
Yeah.
My
Excellent.
first job was in a library. I was an intern at a library when I was 13 and 14.
I worked in a library in college. It was one of my college jobs.
I did too in college.
I did.
Library nerds.
I worked in a movie theater. Okay.
Well,
Cool
you're
kid.
more modern than the rest of us. That's all.
Cool kid.
That's all. Let's see. It's too bad Jeff's not here because there's so many good Facebook stories.
Oh, let's not talk
Putting in
about
these
them at all.
Facebook stories.
Let's just ignore them. Let's just ignore them. Wouldn't that be?
I'm happy to ignore them. I feel like the last couple of weeks, especially, it's just been what other bad thing did Facebook supposedly do, and it's exhausting at a certain point. I mean, and it doesn't impact me personally because I'm not on Facebook anymore. But man,
That's why
Are you
I'm
on
not interested.
Instagram or WhatsApp? Wait,
What's that?
though, because like people are like, are you on WhatsApp or Instagram?
Yes. That would be
So
yes.
you are on Facebook, eh?
Yes.
I feel like
Yeah,
a lot of people are like self-righteously like, I ditched my Facebook account 5 years ago because they're evil.
Yeah,
and I'm
no,
like,
it's so true. It's so true. It's a pretty hypocritical place to be. Why is there a difference then? Because I feel like there's a difference for me on
There
a
is.
personal level. Because when I stepped
you are-
away from Facebook, I did it for a very particular, very particular reason, which was that when I used Facebook, I didn't feel good. Like
That's
I would
exactly
read through
it.
I would
Let's
read
say
through my
less
feed,
toxicity.
and this person that I know and love would suddenly get into a conversation with this person that I know and love that they didn't know and love each other, and now suddenly they're yelling at each other about something that I'm just like, why?
Precisely.
Why? I don't want to be the reason that this happens, and I don't want to read it because it makes me feel like crap. And that's the main reason that I stepped away from Facebook. And then all this other, data privacy and all that other aspect kind of came to light as well. That kind of added on to it, but that was my primary reason.
okay, well, the big crisis, that is not the word. The big issue from a governmental standpoint is Facebook, when they bought these companies, said they would not combine their back ends.
Right.
So for a while, actually cutting out Facebook and still being part of these was fine because they weren't sharing data, et cetera.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's true.
Facebook then integrated those things, and now they are basically the same company doing the same evil that Facebook is doing in some ways. And, last week's story we talked about, Instagram does make people feel bad sometimes. So, I know.
I don't even. As soon as I killed Facebook, it was like a burden lifted from my shoulders, and I don't even care about Facebook news. And obviously, I should because I am a minority that's left Facebook. But to answer your question, I agree 100% with you, Jason. The reason I left is because it didn't make me feel good. I do have an Instagram account, but that's not. It's mostly just so that I can show Instagram here, because if you don't have an account, Instagram really limits what you can do. You can't zoom in on the picture. You can't, you can't do too many pictures. So a lot of our hosts post stuff. I just posted a picture on Instagram, and I just showed you. But mostly I don't, and I've never had a WhatsApp account. So I kind of like not being in that Facebook universe. Nevertheless, there is Facebook news. The latest is The Markup, which is a publication at themarkup.org, nonprofit, has found evidence that Facebook is changing the news feed, actually changing the website code to foil automated data collection of news feed posts. Groups like NYU's Ad Observatory scrape Facebook to keep an eye on what's happening at scale. You can't, you have to do this in an automated fashion. So Facebook is doing this thing. It's really... It's blatant. They're attaching junk code to accessibility features, which it breaks both browser-based ad blocking services, which may be the real reason they're doing it, but also it harms people who are visually impaired because the alt tags that they're looking to use are now full of crap. And by adding these tags, and they're actually in ARIA, they're in the ARIA tags. So you don't see it in the browser, but screen reader software uses it. It's not the alt tags, it's the ARIA tags. Screen reader software uses it, but organizations like NYU's Ad Observatory also use it to identify sponsored posts. So Facebook says, well, we constantly make code changes across our services, but we did not make any code changes to block these research projects. To which I'll add, that was just a happy side effect. Laura Edelson, who's a PhD candidate in computer science at NYU and the founder of the Ad Observatory project, said, expressed dismay at Facebook's move because it caused a sharp drop in the amount of data collected. A fix was found that allowed the team to collect data at normal levels. She said, I think it's unfortunate that Facebook is continuing to fight with researchers rather than work with them. And that's kind of a constant drumbeat in the last few weeks. We've talked about that last week, which is that Facebook doesn't really want researchers to pay attention to see into what Facebook's doing. And I think we agreed last week that's something Facebook has to allow because we can't trust them to self-report. They need to allow researchers to keep an eye on things, not to bust Facebook, but to see what's going on.
But again, it still turns into, hey, are you trying to regulate me? We're Facebook. Don't regulate us.
And it's their platform. It's their platform. What can you say? 6 takeaways from Stacey Higginbotham from this week's Work With event. What was the Works With event, Stacey?
Oh, that's surprising. Okay. That was I know that site. IoT conference hosted last week by Silicon Labs. And they're a chip company that makes all the underlying radios.
I put you to sleep with a Facebook story, didn't I? Admit it.
You totally did.
No, I was just like, what?
I changed the subject. I'm sorry. I was so bored. I changed the subject.
I was expecting something totally different. I thought we were going to talk about Google.
We will. I'm saving the best for last.
Okay. Hey.
No. I'm saving the best for first.
Here, let me bring you a shovel there, Leo.
I cannot help doing this with you, Stacey.
Wow.
I don't know why.
Wow. Okay.
Must be Freudian.
I love it.
Okay, go ahead.
It's all good. Okay, so the 6 takeaways. The ones y'all most care about, there was actually, and this is so nerdy, but I'm going to do it because security is so important. Silicon Labs announced their custom parts manufacturing something. I don't have the story in front of me.
Oh, I do. I can read it to you.
It's like the second bullet point. What is it?
Custom Part Manufacturing Service. CPMS.
So this is a big deal. What they're doing is if you are a client of their chips, you can log in through a web portal and they attach individual device IDs to your individual chips at manufacture. This is going to help with things like preventing counterfeiting. This is going to help with, you can actually occlude who makes your chips. So you could actually, if you're like doing components for Apple, normally your chip says your name on it, but you could actually have, or Silicon Labs name on it, but you could actually have it say something else to help hide who made that part. And from a security standpoint, it's awesome because it is going to ensure the supply chain from the very beginning of the supply chain. No one else is going to be able to tamper with that chip. All the certificates, all the IDs, all of that's going to be implanted individually on the chip, not at a batch level, but on each individual chip at manufacture. It's freaking awesome. And no one else is doing this. And it's something I've actually talked with. California has a law, and for a while the chip manufacturers were worried that they were going to have to do this, and they're like, "Oh God, it's going to be so expensive." And it turns out that they kind of punted and were like, "Yeah, we don't need to just secure everything at the individual device level." But it is a best practice, and Silicon Labs is pushing this forward. Their people have to pay for it. Their customers have to pay for it, but they should because it's going to be a big deal. I think we're going to see more of that happen.
Do they make a lot of the chips in IoT devices?
They do. They make a lot of. So they're the only people right now who make Z-Wave chips.
Oh, okay.
They divested themselves of their automotive industry business earlier this year. They sold it for like $3 billion to go all in on IoT. So they make Wi-Fi chips, Zigbee, Z-Wave. They're big behind the Matter standard. They make Thread radios. They make a lot of sub-gigahertz chips. So for like Wi-Sun, LoRa, Amazon Sidewalk, They make the chips there. So there's
really?
tons.
Oh, God.
Aren't they big
Yeah.
in a lot of the maker space? A lot of the little gadgets and things that the maker community puts together, just for hobby robots and things like that.
Maybe. I mean, I always associate that with
Seems like I've
Broadcom
seen
because there's a
that name.
Broadcom chip in the Pi. But sure. I mean, they make radio. Their big business is radios. They have microcontrollers and stuff that help control the radios, and they do some modules. But their big thing is just radios.
Gotcha.
Bluetooth radios. I forgot Bluetooth, but they make those too. Anyway, so I love them because they're great for IoT. You can see all sorts of cool things happening. So in one of those is like sub-gigahertz radios being a big deal. I don't know what the other takeaways are. I cannot remember.
See, it's so fascinating because probably most of our listeners have never heard of Silicon Labs, and yet probably all of our listeners have devices with Silicon Labs chips in them.
Oh, you 100% do. They're inside phones. They're inside like
Everything.
Nest thermostat. They're everywhere.
Yeah. And so, and many of these devices are insecure or potentially insecure. So this is actually much more important than we realize.
Yeah, you see a lot of the Bluetooth attacks. Like some of them rely there are a few supply chain attacks on radios that matter, but ultimately, I think this is a good example of someone in the industry stepping up in offering a service that is needed, not just on radios, but for everything. And I think other companies will follow through with it or follow on with this and offer the same thing once they see it's possible and people buy it.
You hosted a panel on medical IoT. Is it medical IoT?
Yeah, medical devices. Yeah, for like how IoT is changing the medical industry in a post-COVID world.
Are they going to put one in my chest?
Fun.
Is that a IoT place for IoT?
I wouldn't do that just yet, to be honest. And if I did, I would make sure the radio was manufactured at with the custom parts manufacturing
From Silicon
service.
Labs, yeah. I just did something. Lisa and I just did something on Monday that Kevin Rose told me about and recommended, and now I have a little bit of misgivings. Speaking of medical procedures, we both did a full body MRI scan. Yeah. This was the company was Prenuvo, and doctors think this is a terrible idea. I'm sure the doctor.
I was about to say, do you know that's the joke every doctor makes?
They hate it.
Oh yeah, put them through an MRI scan and see everything wrong with, and like 98% of the stuff is totally.
It's nothing.
That's the problem and if you see a spot on somebody's lung, you can't ignore it, even though most of the time it's meaningless, right? So I now have some misgivings. I haven't yet seen the results of the scans, but I listened to Kevin. We did it for a good reason. Lisa's had a chronic issue that's been bugging the hell out of her. It's not life threatening, but she wants to get it solved. And so I did it kind of as a supportive spouse. I said, well, let's do it together. But also because I'm of an age where if they can spot cancer at an early stage, it'd probably be a good thing. But then I read up on it, and doctors say, no, you should never do this because you're going to see stuff that's not consequential, but you can't ignore now that you know it. It's like, what is that liver spot, that mass you have in your liver there? Is that anything to be concerned about? Oh, probably not. Let's just ignore it.
No, that was just that ribeye.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, you made me think of it when. Have you ever done an MRI? Holy cow!
I love them.
Yeah.
You love them?
You love them?
The best sleep I've ever had in my life was the 2 times I've had MRIs.
So
that's interesting.
Did they do your whole body? So the whole body, it's an hour. You're in there for a long time.
No, it was maybe half an hour for me.
If they're looking at a bone injury or something, they'll just do that region. The thing is noisy as hell. I asked them, they said, that's just a side effect. We're pumping so much energy through your body that the metal and everything creaks and moans. It's really. So that's the metal responding to the energy that's coming through my body. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It goes,
really? I thought it was the magnet rotating.
Well, some of it's positioning, but there's also quite a bit of metal stress noise. There's clanking and clonking.
It was like the best white noise for me. And then they swaddle you up like a newborn baby.
Yo, you're in a tube.
They do. It's true.
Man, I looked forward to it and was out.
You are so funny. Well, I know people who freak. They ask you, are you claustrophobic? Because I mean, you're in a pretty small tube. But it didn't. I was pleased that it didn't scare me, and I did kind of nap towards the end, but because it's boring.
They do VR headsets for them. Like there's a whole study of people doing VR to help with the claustrophobic. I thought I was so claustrophobic.
It felt. I felt like I was in a science fiction movie. It's this brightly lit white room with technicians, and they're all hooded up and stuff, and you get in this machine, and it's going. It felt very
cold.
It's cold. There's wind blowing on you. It's very science. You feel like you're in a sci-fi movie. Anyway,
it's like the alien probing machine.
Yeah,
I don't know how you sleep through that. It's not like that's like a constant noise. Like
no, it's not.
Like it's like very like random blips and bleeps of all different frequencies and everything. Like
I don't know.
What you don't know about
the sleep through that.
But again, you're talking about the guy that has the weird sleep habits anyway. So
he was so tired, he just went right out.
All you need is an MRI machine at home.
Yeah, every time Ann has trouble sleeping, we just give it an MRI, it goes right out.
Every night, get an MRI.
They put headphones on me. I would have liked a VR headset. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah. Agreed.
I was a little disappointed. The quality of the headphones was terrible. Because I had heard that Audi's, who makes the best, very, very high-end headphones.
Audeze.
Audeze. Audeze.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard that they also made headphones for MRI machines. I thought, I'm going to get some nice sound. And apparently, they don't make the best headphones for the MRI machines. And then I made the mistake of asking for country music, so that was probably a problem.
Why did you?
All I hear is. It was not fun. I did not sleep. Anyway, anything else from the IoT event? Batteries are still a problem.
Oh, we know that. Oh, I was excited. Oh, y'all, check out Dracula Technologies. Not only are they making a slightly more dense PV sensor, a PV energy harvester, so photovoltaic cell, for like a sensor that you can pop a sensor, put the sticker on top of it, and it'll run without a battery for like 10 years. But
so it's like a little mini solar panel.
Yeah, it's a tiny it's a solar panel sticker. But they're making it of a material that can be recycled. And like before I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I was like, I must talk to them. So I'm really excited. Also, they have a cool name, Dracula Technologies.
Because they're sucking the sun's energy.
Energy out of the sun.
Can they make them bigger? Could they generate enough power to... No,
that's magic.
I love the logo, too. It's like a little bat. That's cool.
I know.
Look at that. Cute. That's hysterical. This is why we love having you on, Stacey, because you have, this is stuff that is so infrastructure. We don't pay attention to it, and yet it is so influential in everything we do. This is cool. Really neat.
Yeah, y'all should look up Scylla.
Layer 2.
Did you see the new Whoop band ant with the new battery that's like extra dense and
I didn't.
It's smaller? Oh my God.
Hold on.
This is really exciting for tech infrastructure, and
so
I'll stop being
Whoop, which has the best name ever, is a fitness band, right? Whoop.
Yes.
Whoop 4.0.
Whoop.
Yes. And it's smaller and thinner because it has a new battery technology. And that battery technology is basically more energy dense. So you can do more with less. And it's from a company that was started in 2011 from Georgia Tech called Scylla. And this is going to be the hotness in wearables. Batteries because basically you could either make your devices smaller or keep them the same size and have them run for longer or do more. And that, when I said batteries are still a problem, that's what I'm talking about. So this is really cool because we don't have a lot of new material science. Those things don't come along very often. So, yay.
Okay, I Googled Whoop and Scylla, and I came out with the wrong. How do you spell Scylla?
It's Sila.
Oh, I was spelling it like Scylla and Charybdis. Charybdis. Scylla Nanotechnologies. See, this is perfect example. So are we making breakthroughs in battery chemistry? Because that's been one of the things that's held back everything.
Totally.
This isn't a change in battery chemistry. It's a change in how much energy they can store. There are breakthroughs happening, but the hard thing is, think about this. This was 10 years ago that they discovered this. So commercialization for material science,
takes a long time.
I feel like actually happened really fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes a long time.
So the Scylla battery is 17% higher energy density, which sounds like not a lot, but that can make a huge difference. But it took them 10 years to get to market.
Yeah. So
yeah,
these are, it's incremental, but the cool thing is when you don't, the IoT has so many different types of devices that require different levels of power. So when you're talking about a computer, a 17% increase may not matter that much. But when you're talking about a wearable, it can actually give you like a whole extra day's battery life, which is a lot. Or smaller devices.
Did they talk about the chip shortage at all?
They did talk. They had a whole panel on the chip shortage. You read my article and you're just helping me out here. I love you, Leo. Thank you.
0.6. Well, no, I mean, there's something we're all
a week ago.
We're all I understand. It's something we're all interested in though, because it's still impacting everything.
Absolutely.
From cars to laptops and phones.
Yeah, so it's still going on. Nothing really new to report. They're saying what, 2023 in there?
Yeah.
I'm looking at. Yeah, so we're still on that time frame. They talked about there's just a fundamental breaking point in the industry that is pretty subtle, but like, you know how we talk about all the new fabs and we get all excited about Samsung building fabs and Intel's? Those are all on really big 300 millimeter wafers. This is my 300 millimeter wafer. And all the automotive chips have been made on these smaller 200 millimeter wafers. So there's been this whole industry designed around.
Do you have a vanilla wafer? Because that's about that big.
But the issue is a lot of like the automotive companies, they've been stuck on this 200 millimeter technology. A lot of the MEMS sensors that we depend on for like IoT and even manufacturing, all of that stuff that translates the analog world into digital is on this older technology, but no one's really investing in it. And then all of a sudden we're like, hey, let's do the Internet of Things. Let's build electric cars. And then suddenly we all want that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Now, so that's a big
shift. That took them by
shift.
Surprise. They didn't expect that.
Right. And no one wants to build those factories anymore because there's no economies of scale there.
Legacy nodes.
Yeah, they're legacy. So the car manufacturers need to like step up and be like, all right, we need to get in on 300 millimeters, which means their chips are going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
And they don't need to be that big. They're wasting precious silicon.
But not anymore. Because now there's a sufficient demand for them. So the reason you would... Oh, my internet connection just went unstable.
Yes, you froze momentarily, but you're all right now.
You're good now.
Oh, okay.
Are you on the fiber still?
I didn't plug it in today. I'm sorry.
What? You don't like us that much, do you? Do you plug it in for Tofel?
I know. I didn't plug it in this way. Hold on.
No. I'm teasing. I don't care. Oh, now she's going to go plug. When I do the next break, if you want to plug it in, you can.
I'll plug it in then. Okay.
She plugs it in for Tofel, I guarantee you.
I did not plug it in this morning. I plugged it in for my event yesterday. Okay. I was talking about something.
Why do you even unplug it? Why don't you leave it always plugged in?
It's dadgum fiber.
I'll trip over it.
Oh.
It's a cord.
Well, you need to fix that.
Yeah, there's a solution for that. There must be.
What?
It's worth it. It's worth it.
I don't know. Punch a hole in the wall, run it through the wall. I don't know. You don't need to have wire going across the desk. Yeah, I understand, but surely...
And the fiber thing's back there.
Shocking. Yeah.
Oh, there's a fix for that.
Get a longer cable. That's what you need. You can run along the wall or something.
Y'all.
Oh, y'all.
Anyway, I don't...
Oh, y'all. You can take.
I don't know what I was talking about
You can take
anymore,
the woman out of Texas,
Mr.
but
Burke
you can't
is screaming at the screen right now.
We'll send Burke up there to wire you up.
Yeah, right.
All right. I'll
Taking time out. We're going to take a time out. We'll come back. Got a lot more to talk about. Jeff Jarvis is out for the day, but it's so nice to have Jason Howell here from All About Android, Hands-On Photography. No, I'm sorry. That's somebody else. That'd be Tech News Weekly is that show that you do. Yes, sir.
There we go.
Hands-On Photography's Mr. Ant Pruitt. He's also community manager at Club Twit, and Stacey Higginbotham, who plugs it in for Tofel, but not for us.
That is not true.
She does a show with Kevin Tofel called the IoT Show. It's really, really good. Our show today, actually, it's kind of fun. Both our sponsors today are podcasts. This says something about the podcast biz, I guess. My good friend Kevin Rose, who is a brilliant, brilliant guy and has a real knack for finance and making money. He's a partner at True Ventures right now, but he's well known as one of the top 25 angel investors. Actually, Bloomberg called him that. Time Magazine called him one of the top 25 most influential people on the web. Founder of Dig Nation. He was our dog tipper on the Screensavers, and he's done some great podcasts. His newest is all about finance. It's called Modern Finance. If you're trying to keep up with that crazy world of crypto, the crazy crypto world, Bitcoins, NFTs, robo-investors, decentralized finance, you'll want to know about Modern Finance. It's a crypto show for the novice and expert alike. I've never listened to a better show for helping me understand the very complicated notions behind all of this stuff. For instance, in fact, it was his very first episode. I loved it. He talked all about NFTs. It's the first time I ever understood what NFTs are. But he does it without dumbing it down. Tech experts are on, entrepreneurs, artists, creating NFTs. He interviews the top experts in the field. In fact, he does two shows, which is great. One, the Consensus episode every week, explores weekly news, distills it into digestible information. The other, also every week, deeper interviews with individual crypto founders and NFT artists. So this is a great opportunity to catch up on a topic that's changing rapidly, but also has deep impact for everything we do. Plus, it makes you the life of the party if you know about crypto. Everybody's saying, "What do you think of this new NFT thing?" Get informed about your investments. Learn about the next big thing in crypto or NFTs. 10 years ago, people called cryptocurrency a scam. 5 years ago, people thought it was a fad. Now it's already a $1 trillion market and growing. The Modern Finance Podcast helps you make sense of all the coins, the NFTs, the chaos. Equip yourself with the knowledge of where things are going with our good friend and probably one of the best guys in the world to explain all of this, Kevin Rose. Look, the financial landscape is harder than ever to navigate, but you're not doing it alone. Download and subscribe to Modern Finance wherever you listen to podcasts. That's Modern Finance. You'll find it in Apple's podcasts, Google's podcast, every podcast player. And, of course, you can find out more at modern.finance on the web. Don't be the last person on the next train out. Listen to Modern Finance and get ahead of the future of finance. After this show is over, I strongly encourage you to download the latest episode and listen. You will learn something. It's really, and it's quite entertaining, quite fun. I do love Kevin Rose. Modern Finance, wherever you get your podcasts. So, interesting debate going on about, remember we, for a while, blocked Huawei. The country of Lithuania has now said, throw away Chinese mobile phones, particularly Xiaomi phones, because they found the devices had built-in censorship capabilities. They could actually turn on a thing that would disable, for instance, posts about Tiananmen Square or pictures of President Xi that the president didn't like. Built into the phone that you bought in Lithuania.
Wow. Yikes.
Was it Chinese surveillance or was it somebody else's surveillance?
No, it's Chinese. And I think that I think my suspicion is that they're just put in by default into these phones. This was particularly Xiaomi, but I mean, the Chinese government has control over this, and this was intended, obviously, not for Lithuanians, but since it's in the phone, there was some concern that it could be used against Lithuanians.
Oh, Scooter X is pointing out that Xiaomi's statement denies the allegation that the company intended to do that.
Of course not.
But
however,
they did not deny that it exists.
Yes, we comply with the GDPR, but the software's in there. That's the point.
Right.
They didn't deny it.
449 terms, apparently, more than 449 terms that could be censored. Things like long live Taiwan independence, free Tibet,
Falun Gong,
things like that.
Uyghurs.
Wow. Yeah, no good.
Let's see.
And not isolated to the Xiaomi phones that are sold in China, is my understanding either.
That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
this
Exactly.
isn't the way-
Exactly. This is like, yeah.
Xiaomi does not sell phones in the United
beyond.
States, nor does Huawei, right? But I had a Xiaomi phone. I really liked it. In fact, I've had a Huawei phone. They're very good phones. They sell them here?
Xiaomi sells IoT devices.
Oh,
in the
that's
US,
right. The Mi Cams and all that. That's right.
And Tuya is one of the big providers of what do you call it? Like branded IoT. Like Energizer has a few IoT devices. Tuya makes the back-end software and hosts their stuff in the cloud. Now, Tuya says that their cloud is they have geographic regions and data sharing does not happen between regions. But some senators last week or 2 weeks ago actually were like, hey, Tuya, we should sanction those guys. We should not allow their stuff in, which is a big deal because like Walmart's stuff is built on Tuya. Okay, sorry. Since we're talking about it, I threw that in there.
Lithuania's National Cybersecurity Center said it found 4 major cybersecurity risks for devices made by Huawei and Xiaomi, including 2 relating to pre-installed apps, 1 involving personal data leakage, and as a result warned against use of these 2 brands. Voice of America was one of the banned censored phrases. Long live Taiwan independence.
Yeah.
Can you buy I feel like you can still buy Xiaomi phones in the U.S. I don't think they've been,
I mean, you can if you're ordering online through certain...
right. You have to order
Obviously, you can't get them in carriers. You're not going to walk into a carrier store and buy a Xiaomi phone.
And the
But
Department of
absolutely.
Commerce has warned against them. That was years ago. That was several years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's same with Huawei devices.
But I
think
thought
you can
they-
still buy Huawei devices as well. It's just
Right.
they highly discourage it.
I neglected to mention this on Sunday on Twitter, and I want to mention it now. Clive Sinclair has passed away. You may not know the name, but there are a lot of people, certainly of my generation, who used Sinclair's early personal computers, like the ZX Spectrum, which was how Linus Torvalds, the creator of Linux, got started in computing when he was a teenager. There's a Sinclair ZX Spectrum. I had an early time. Was it a Timex Sinclair? The ZX80. You remember that one? They were inexpensive. They were, about $100. They weren't very powerful, but for many people, this was the first experience they had of a small personal computer. He was also famous for designing the first pocket calculator. British guy, and so the ZX was most popular in the UK. But I think it was am I right that it was Timex that brought it to the United States? I think so. I think
Can't remember,
the
sir.
Timex Sinclair ZX81. That's the one I had. Little membrane
There you go.
keyboard. See, there you go.
Yes, that's
Remember
right.
that?
The membrane keyboard.
Yep.
Yeah, my friend had the. I didn't have one of these, but my friend when I was a kid did. His father had a bunch of at the time. The computers of the time, and I remember going over to his house and nerding out on
Not super
on the
powerful,
ZX.
but at least an exposure.
But it was pretty sweet at the time.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
So if that was about $100, what was? I don't remember what those TRS-80s and
Oh,
things
much
like
more
that cost
expensive.
back then.
Yeah.
Much more expensive. But TRS-80 maybe it was $1,000 or $800. There were though things like the VIC-20 and the Commodore 64 that were less expensive. So
Or
there,
500.
but people went out and bought VIC-20s, and they were so underpowered and so useless they just ended up collecting dust in the closet. I mean, they
Right.
Did they turn those into speak and spells? Because that's what it looked like.
Yeah, kind of. So the ZX was sold as a kit as well. You could buy it assembled, I think, but you could also solder it yourself. July 1982, the TS-1000 was sold in the United States. The first computer under $100. IBM personal computer hadn't come out, wouldn't come out, or had come out the year before. The Macintosh wouldn't come out for 2 more years, so it was kind of Apple II, IBM PC era. But those were all very, very expensive. So
the TRS was roughly $1,000. You'd say the C64 may have been maybe $500.
I don't know. You know, I'll have to ask somebody who bought it back in that time frame. The C64 was cheaper, I'm pretty sure.
It was definitely cheaper. Yeah, I mean the Commodore 64. That was my computer. I would say
saw a lot
growing
of those.
up, but I can't remember. You know, like I don't think I bought it. My parents bought it for me.
Right.
When I was
Right.
Yeah, that's what we don't know.
The 6th grade. I don't know. I'm guessing somewhere
$595. $595 according to Wikipedia.
Okay.
The VIC-20 was a lot less.
Yes.
And that was the problem. Is it was only 5K of RAM. So you really couldn't. Yeah, no, you couldn't do a whole lot. Actually, I think the Sinclair only had 1K of RAM. Yeah. So, it was for hobbyists in the early days.
Sure.
We've come a long way.
We really have.
Anyway, Clive Sinclair, dead at the age of 81, and maybe a name you don't know, but he certainly was a big part of the personal computer revolution. Certainly as important as Wozniak and Jobs. Timex said they sold 600,000 of them. So
I'm just looking through Google Images at ZX81 games and just remembering the games.
Monster
of that era.
Maze, 3D Monster Maze, yeah.
I'm just reminded of how much more we had to use our imagination. Like our imagination really filled the gaps then. Now everything is created to this sharpness that replicates reality. But back then, I mean, it was obviously a lot more rudimentary, and there was just something magical about filling in the gaps with your own imagination. Like it was just what we had. We probably took it for granted, but looking back, that's the thing I miss is just like, I don't know, but there's just something about that era of games that I love.
This is 3D Monster Maze.
I feel like there could be a market for recreating some of these games that
there is
like that on a phone.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, there is. There are a lot of them.
I would never give up today's gaming. I mean, God, some of those things are freaking beautiful, and you're just like,
they are.
Yeah, works of art.
Doesn't Mr. Technologizer have some games like this available?
He wrote a game in a BASIC. He was talking about this on Twitter on Sunday, Harry McCracken. And he wrote a game. I could show you his website because you could play
Arctic 81,
Arctic81.com.
I think that's it.
Yes, it is.
There he is.
And he actually has it. You can play it online at Arctic81.com. I love the website because it really looks like that era. I will describe your surroundings at the top of the screen. Tell me what you want to do. Mostly 2-word commands like go west, get brick, inventory, help, save, and exit. You ready to play? All right. You are in an igloo. Obvious exits out. You see shovel, warm coat. Your command. Let's do get. Get coat. It's thinking. Good. You see shovel. Get shovel. I bet we'll need that too. It's the old. Okay. You see nothing special. Oh, let's go out. I am now leaving the igloo.
See, this is when I would fail because I would say leave.
Go west. Well, you had to play these games. You would kind of learn that you can't
learn the syntax.
Yeah. You have to. They're stupid. And this is written in BASIC. The funny thing is, Harry actually had a typo. It was published in a book and would not run if you had typed it in from the book, page after page of this code.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
Took forever to type that in, and you get to the end.
Oh, when I was a kid, I was in my 20s, but in the early days of Atari, you'd buy Compute Magazine and you'd type in long listings, and if you made a mistake, you'd have to find it, and of course you couldn't save it to a floppy disk; you had to save it to a tape.
Tape is cassette, right?
Yeah, cassette tape. Yeah. I have memories of that myself. Spending a lot of time punching in just numbers, machine code.
I have new respect for you, Jason. I didn't know you went that far back. That's good.
Yeah.
We read. Remember last week we read the Ig Nobel Prize winners.
Oh boy.
I didn't realize this. They had a broadcast of their prize winners, presentation like you do with the Academy Awards or the Emmys. It was pulled down on YouTube because they had the temerity to feature a 1914, yes, 1914 recording of a tenor singing Funiculi Funicula. Of course, anything from 1914 is in public domain. That didn't stop YouTube from taking it down at the behest of SME in Grooves on behalf of Emerald, Wise Music Group, BMG Rights Management, LLC, UMPG Publishing, PEDL, Cobalt Music, Warner Chappell, Sony ATV, and One Music Rights Society. Oh, my God.
Not cool. Was it for the recording? I mean, is that
recent? It's Content ID, apparently.
Well, what do you want them to do? Have somebody sitting at the desk listening to these things, personally over and over to make sure they pass and say, okay, this is approved, or let the AI do what it's potentially doing very well.
They solved it today. It's back up. It's been down for the week. Still unsuccessful at making any contact with any human being at YouTube, they say. We think we solved the problem by recording our own performance of Funiculi Funicula and then editing that into the video instead. The new musical performance is by soprano Maria Ferrante. It's probably better, right?
Probably.
Yeah. So now, if you want, you can watch the 31st annual Ig Nobel Prize ceremony featuring. Wait a minute! If I play this, YouTube's going to take me down. That's the original. Yeah. Let's play the other one that has their. Wait a minute. This is the original. No, sorry. Play this one. I got to get it right.
It's too late. We're
already taken down.
We're broken.
We're already taken down. But worth watching.
Throughout a long year, under pandemic conditions, the Ig Nobel Board of Governors kept a single-minded focus on our goals.
I want handlers for that dog like that.
Engineering principles.
Oh, he's carrying.
He's holding a big stick.
All the people and all the things needed to produce the 31st first annual Ig Nobel Prize ceremony.
This carries a cold.
Well, this year.
Looks like that.
What year is this? 2021. Is it really 2021? The COVID-19 pandemic.
Anyway, I'll let you watch this. It was still up on Vimeo. They finally got it back up on YouTube by re-recording the song. But this is the problem with, of course, Content ID. I mean, there's no way that's not a public domain song from 1914.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Jeff Bezos says he was so influenced by his several-minute trip to the top of the Earth's atmosphere that he's going to give away $1 billion to support conservation around the Earth. He says, nature is our life support system and it's fragile. I was reminded of this just this past July when I went into space-ish, with space adjacent with Blue Origin.
What the other folks did last week, not him.
Yeah, they went into space. I'd heard that seeing the Earth from space changes one's point of view of the world. I was not prepared for just how much that would be true. That's pretty amazing since he only had like a couple of minutes up there. But I'm not knocking it because $1 billion.
A couple more minutes than I.
Yeah, that's true. He's ahead of me. Yeah. $1 billion. This is through the Bezos Earth Fund, which he started in 2020 to execute his $10 billion commitment to fight climate change. So, actually, I like this statement. The natural world is not better today than it was 500 years ago when we enjoyed unspoiled forests, clean rivers, and the pristine air of the pre-industrial age.
Oh, just what we need is a bunch of billionaires trying to optimize nature. Screw that.
You know what we didn't have then? We didn't have overnight delivery of something that we went online and ordered something.
We didn't have a fleet of jets flying back and forth from Memphis, Tennessee to bring me my kitty litter.
We didn't have climate change either.
Well, yeah. Amazon is going to have a big, I guess we've got to do this too, Jason, hardware event for September 28th.
Yes,
that's right.
I'm going to be there. Well, I'm going to be watching.
Yeah.
Normally I would be.
Well, they don't. Do they stream it? I think they did not stream it last year. No. They just invited the press, and then everybody got to talk about it later.
It's It's a curious decision.
Okay. But you got
I will
to go.
Be there.
You got to go.
So when it's physical, I've been to all of their events, and when it's not physical, I've been to all of their virtual events. But I can come back on Wednesday and tell you everything.
Yes. Guess what? We'll know all about it the next day. The event is invite only, says The Verge, so don't expect a public live stream. But The Verge will be covering all the news as soon as it happens, September 28th, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Hey, good news, Ant. Hey, good. We don't have to move any shows. Yay. We'll just talk about it the next day.
Thank you kindly, sir.
Oh, hallelujah.
I'm curious to know why Amazon chooses to do that, though. Like when literally all of their competitors are doing the live stream, why do they choose not to?
Stacy?
I don't know. They're relatively new to the device launch game. They've only done 4 of these.
And they like to announce like dozens of devices, don't they?
Yeah,
oh my God.
totally.
And like every year, I'm going to tell you, y'all are lucky because when you sit down, the first year there were like 78 pieces of news. The second year it was like 131 pieces of news.
Maybe that's why.
It is really a lot. I'm just going to tell you.
So last year, they announced a bunch of, actually it was this year, I think earlier this year in the spring, what they call day one editions. You remember that, Stacy? Things that they were thinking about making, and if enough people bought it.
It was their Kickstarter.
Yeah. So I put down some money on something. In fact, I think I ordered the only thing that got approved, which is the Smart Sticky Note Printer, which is a printer that you pair to your Echo device, and then you can say, Echo, print my grocery list, or something like that, or print my to-dos, and then it'll print it out for. Oh, look, you can print a Sudoku.
Oh, print your Sudoku.
I now love it.
Perfect.
Oh, boy.
It's a Sudoku printer. Woohoo! So, but I ordered it. The goal was met on day 3 of 30. Still, it says supposed to ship between July and September.
Hey, chip shortage, man.
Maybe a chip shortage. Yeah.
I mean, the Wi-Fi chips have been in short supply. Can I just tell you, today Amazon said, hold on, I'm pretty sure this is not under embargo. Oh.
Have you been talking to Bezos again?
Maybe Amazon didn't say anything.
But I've got to check. I was like, hold on.
I bet you plug it in for Bezos.
It is not under embargo.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm like, today, Amazon announced in limited edition $229.99 Echo Studio featuring Billie Eilish's cover art for Happier Than Ever.
Oh, God, who cares? Who the hell wants that? All right, you want to see it? Here's what it looks like. You can have an emo teenager smooning away on your Echo device. I guess if you're really a big fan of Billie Eilish.
It just seems so niche, and I guess it's just a cover print job.
Clearly it is.
But I don't understand. I'm curious about the economics of this and why Amazon's doing something like this on hardware. Because, like...
Well, didn't they have, like, a children's Echo? Remember they had...
They have a children's Echo, and they actually did a line of Echo, like, smaller $99 speakers that were, like, the Diane von Furstenberg and 2 other designers that you could buy with their imagery on their Echoes.
It's a little expensive. Is $230 the normal price for an Echo Studio?
Yes, they're usually $250, aren't they?
Yeah, this is $30 more, says the headline.
Just for Billie Eilish. You know, I would buy it for the kitsch factor, frankly. People I know would come and say, why do you have some woman's face on your...
Who knows? Maybe Shutterfly will start to allow us to print out our own, photos on an Echo show, or Echo Studio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly for the massive Billie Eilish fan, right? I mean...
There are a lot of Billie Eilish fans out there, y'all.
There are.
Definitely they are.
Oh, wait a minute.
Sure.
The Echo Studio is $200. This is $230. So, yeah, you're right. $30 more.
$30 more.
Okay. It also comes with, 4 months of Amazon Music, which does not seem like a smoking deal to me.
It should come with lots of Billie Eilish music. You get 6 months to Amazon Music Unlimited.
Oh, 6 months.
And you can listen to Happier Than Ever in spatial audio.
It's the only thing you can listen to on this device is that album.
Over and over and over again. You know
because
what?
you're a big enough fan to have Billie Eilish on your device itself, so they figure that's probably what you want.
Here's what it would look like on your Billie Eilish desk with your Billie Eilish poster and your Billie Eilish wallpaper. It's really funny.
It's a puzzling device. That's why I brought it up, because I'm like, who is this?
Doesn't make
is this
sense.
How expensive is it to make? What was the conversation? I mean,
if even like Alexa could be Billie Eilish's voice, that would be cool. But no, they haven't done that.
that makes sense though, because that's a digital product, but this is a physical product. It's gonna sit there forever. I thought I was flummoxed.
Flummoxed, I tell you.
Devices.
Flummoxed.
You probably don't want Alexa whispering to you is the thing, so you probably don't want Billie Eilish's voice.
She talks like this. She
does lots of whispering, whisper singing.
She's ASMR. I am a fan of Aukey, A-U-K-E-Y, battery products. I won't be buying them on Amazon anymore. They and 599 other Chinese brands have been kicked from Amazon for review fraud. Amazon says we're not targeting China, which the state-owned Chinese Central Television said they might be. But, you can't do things like send emails out saying, we'll give you $10 off if you give us a positive review, because that, games the review system. Amazon says customers rely on the accuracy and authenticity of product reviews, so we suspend, ban, and take legal action against those who violate these policies wherever they are in the world. Aukey Mpao and Shenzhen Yukeshu Technology Company. They say also that $20 million of their funds have been frozen by Amazon for stuff already sold. So I'm sure you can still buy those devices somewhere
Amazon
else.
makes money even when they kick vendors off their platform.
Incredible. It's incredible. Let's see. What else is? I guess I should do a change log. Should I do a change log? Let's play the drums. Oh, Burke is filling in, so he's going to have to find the button. Find where John stored the drummers. Where did they put them? There they are.
There we go.
Change log.
Ba-da-ba-dum-ba-bum. Jason, I should make you do this change log.
It's so funny that you say that, because I actually wondered if you were going to today. Because I know how much you love the change log.
Well, at this point, I don't even do it anymore. I let you put it all together. So I very rarely see anything worth talking about. Well, like this. YouTube gets official video downloads on the web, saving you from using very sketchy sites.
All right. Yeah. Have you ever used a site to rip a YouTube?
Oh, yeah. Well, I use YouTube DL, YouTube? But that YouTube hates that because content creators sometimes count on YouTube not allowing you to download stuff you watch there.
Right.
Maybe the thinking is if you did that, you might edit out the video, the ads, and distribute it yourself or something like that. Or
ask Aunt Pruitt how do you remove a watermark from this video that I just downloaded?
Really?
Oh boy.
Really?
That is a common comment that I get for one of my videos. I have a video that talks about removing objects. It's a tutorial in Premiere where you can remove certain objects in the video just using mask. And every single comment on there is asking me, well, can this work for watermarks?
Dang.
I thought you could download videos on YouTube. Is that?
No, I don't believe that's like a baked-in feature. Well, actually, I'm pretty certain it's not a baked-in feature.
No, it's
unless
not.
you happen to have a Chrome,
not.
extension running.
Oh, see, I guess I must be. So how would I'm looking, because I have YouTube Premium. By the way, this is only for YouTube Premium subscribers.
And only in India or France. So this is a very limited trial. But
this is why he hates the change log, Jason.
Only in India and France. Downloaded videos can be played back by YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/feed/downloads, see, then I don't have any downloads, but if I did, they would be right here.
Yeah,
that's
apparently
interesting.
They're testing this out.
Okay.
So who knows? Maybe coming soon to a YouTube near you, you'll get a download button that isn't the result of an extension.
Everybody hated this idea, but Google's going to do it anyway. Idle detection, an API built into Chrome 94 for desktop and Android that detects user inactivity. Both Mozilla and Apple complained, but it's in there. Why are they complaining? Why don't they? The feature's designed for multi-user applications like meetings, chat, and online games. The reason maybe because in schools, a lot of times when you're doing a Zoom class or something like that, they want to make sure that you're actually there, not pretending to be there for attendance purposes. So this feature notifies when a user is idle. It looks at things like the mouse, the keyboard, screen locking, or user switching away from the screen. Applications which facilitate collaboration require more global signals about whether the user is idle than are provided by the existing mechanisms that only consider a user's application with the application's interaction with the application's own tag. So developers from Slack and Google Chat liked it. Mozilla's Tantek Chelik said, "I consider idle detection too tempting of an opportunity for surveillance capitalism-motivated websites to invade an aspect of the user's physical privacy, keep long-term records of physical user behaviors, discerning daily rhythms like, oh, it's his lunchtime, the computer sits idle for an hour, and then using that for proactive psychological manipulation. Don't you think a burger from Burger King would be nice right about now?" In addition, such course patterns could be used by websites to surreptitiously max out local compute resources for proof-of-work computations, i.e. Bitcoin, wasting electricity.
Crypto mining during lunch.
Yeah. So despite the complaints, Chrome 94 has the idle detection API. So there's something for everybody. Google Maps can now adjust its Android Auto UI for right-hand drive cars. So I guess the UI
users.
I don't know.
Oh, is that for like the people who drive on the left in the UK
like in the
and
UK.
Australia?
There we go.
We're all like, what?
Why would you ever want to do that?
So normally the navigation bar and the turn information cards are on the right side, because I guess if you're driving on the left side of the car, you're using your right hand, or I don't know. But they can also adjust to the left side. Okay. See how full of good stuff the changelog is. You'd hate to miss that. Google's search filters introduced on the web last year are now coming to Android. Explain to me, Jason, what is the Google search filter?
Do you think I read these, Leo? Sometimes
Okay.
I just kind of pop through and find the
that's a
headline,
change.
and I go, "Oh, that
That's a
sounds
change.
significant." It's a change.
Gmail search filters on Android work independently or post-search. The former means they appear after tapping the top, now pill-shaped field before entering a query. As such, you can look for emails from a particular sender or recipient as well as by date and attachment status without a particular term in mind. This is rolling out for Gmail for Android. If you understood that, you're probably happy.
Yeah, somebody's happy.
You're happy. Google's
Sorry,
iOS.
I put that in there.
No, I don't care. No. If you didn't, what would I make fun of? Google's iOS 15 app updates bring Excel, YouTube, music, and Photos widgets focus mode support. So, it's funny because Google, after iOS 14 came out, you may remember, because they didn't like the privacy stuff, declined to update any of their apps for months and months and months. But I guess they said, well, I guess we're going to have to live with it, because they updated their apps for iOS 15 pretty much the day it came out. You get widgets for photos, which is great. There's also widgets for YouTube Music, extra large widgets, 4x2 grid of, so here, I'll show you. This is big. So you get what's playing right now, and then this 4x2 grid of tracks. These are huge widgets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Big old widgets.
Another feature that is really nice, by the way, and I hope Android does something similar in iOS 15, is this focus mode, which it's kind of like Do Not Disturb on steroids. It will, like I have it right now, focus mode. I'm at work, So it knows when I get to work and then sets the do not disturb as I've previously indicated automatically. That's really cool. You can do it for going to sleep and all sorts of things. Google's going to pay attention and give you, and it will affect task reminders, Google Maps navigation, home doorbell notifications, Gmail notifications, and so forth.
Google has a focus mode.
They do that already?
Yeah, part of the whole digital well-being tool set. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it does something very similar. It's very similar.
Oh, well, in that case, it's about time, Apple.
Exactly.
Google Meet for Web gets automatic brightness boost when you're underexposed. Aunt Pruitt likes it. Now, if they could just get white balance.
Get that dadgum white balance.
That's kind of cool. It'll say, oh, you're not very bright. Let's see if we can turn up the volume. Having too much light behind you, such as a window on a sunny day, can be challenging for cameras. Google Meet on the web now automatically detects when a user appears underexposed and enhances the brightness.
Nice.
So here's the
it's good.
Here it is in action. You can see there's some people here who are a little dark, and Google's just brightening them up. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, that's a nice
Like
idea. You can adjust video lighting from more settings and video, so you can turn it out. It'll be rolling out today, fully available in the coming weeks for Google Workspace customers. Oh, you got to pay for it. Oh,
of course.
No.
Things cost money, otherwise they cost your data.
Yeah. They cost your beta?
Data.
Oh, data. Oh, yeah.
Your privacy.
Either you're the
Let's call it
product or
that.
you're the customer. That's right. And you'll like this, Stacy. Fitbit starts rolling out snore and noise detect for the Fitbit
On the what?
Sense and Versa 5. Apple
So
doesn't.
I wonder if they're
roll of
using.
tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they're using the same algorithms they built for the Nest Hub too, because
That's right. The Nest Hub
thing.
does it. You were talking about
Right.
that. That's right. This is actually very important because it could be a sign of sleep apnea. It could be a sign of other issues. It also looks at
Or it's a
restlessness.
sign that you don't snore that badly and your husband is
just exaggerating.
really sensitive.
That's what I think. That's my story.
We played my snores on this show and everybody made me feel much better.
That's nothing. I know Lisa did that to me the other day. She recorded my snoring. How wooed. I'm not going to plug it in for her, that's for sure. And that's the Google changelog. U.S. government says no to Zoom. They had a $15 billion deal for Five9, which is another video conferencing company. The U.S. government says no because China. Zoom's China ties could make its acquisition of the software company a national security risk. Five9 is based in San Jose, California, I think. Is that right? The Five9 acquisition is subject to certain telecom regulatory approvals, said Zoom. We have made filings with the various applicable regulatory agencies, and these approval processes are proceeding as expected. Five9 declined to comment. Paying attention to the Chinese connection with Zoom. Zoom is actually, I don't know if Zoom has Chinese ties. The software is written in China, but the company is owned by Americans. Did we mention Cameo Calls last week? We were talking about Cameo.
I don't believe that we mentioned the calls feature.
No.
New feature, you can have a celebrity call you for up to 15 minutes one-on-one. The celebrity sets the duration, time, and price of the call. Average is right now around $31. Well, let's go see who we can talk to on Zoom.
Wow.
Here is Hagbert. What's the guy in Harry Potter? Egbert? Hagrid.
Oh, Haggard?
Hagrid.
Hagrid.
The guy who plays Hagrid. You can talk to him. He's available right now. He's just sitting there waiting for your call. $15 for 2 minutes. Hagrid's waiting. Hello, Harry Potter.
$15 is not very much to be able to put guest : Hagrid from Harry Potter in our show notes.
Should I just call him and say, how you doing? What's up, Greg? How you doing? No. Who else can I talk to? Austin Nichols, Nikki Blonsky. She was in Hairspray. Is this the lowest rung of celebrity hell at this point? Yeah,
I was going to ask when you get on there.
No. Especially if someone can make, several $1,000s a month just to do.
Well, and the thing that makes it nice is you can also give some to charity, and I think a lot of celebrities do that. Well, look, you could talk to not Tom Cruise tomorrow at 3:00, $25 for 2 minutes. Maybe you'll do it.
What if people wanted to call me to ask me personally their questions and have me actually answer them and ask them questions?
$15.
How much would I charge for that?
How much should you charge for that?
I have no idea.
I think
How much would you pay?
We should call some of these people. We should just make this a feature on the show. And now it's time for the Cameo. They probably charge more if you're using it in a podcast.
I was going to say, they probably have something in their terms of service. Like,
you may not use
can't
this.
Broadcast, can't record.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's just for you, I'm guessing.
Patrick Labier. You could call him and ask how you pronounce his name.
I was trying to see. I was trying to find the September guy in there, but he's not.
No. It's not.
Ooh, T-Boss.
Wait, Melissa Etheridge?
Yeah, Melissa Etheridge. You could talk to her for 3 minutes for no money. Wait a minute.
Nope, there's
How can that be?
This must be like a
access.
She'll be taking Cameo
feature.
calls, $0 for 3 minutes. Apparently, she's just doing it for the goodness of her heart. And there's 2 tickets remaining.
Maybe Cameo paid her to do it.
Like, would you please
to
do
get
this?
people to use this.
Yeah.
To get people to use it. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We're on to you, Cameo.
Anyway, just thought I'd pass that along if you want to talk to Hagbert. whatever the hell his name is.
Hagrid.
Hangry. Hello, Harry Potter. I'm hangry.
Hangry Hagrid.
I will talk to you for 2 minutes exactly for $15. All right, let's. I think it's time to wrap this puppy up because, it's almost waffle time. So we are going to get to the picks of the week next. We, as always, start our picks of the week with a random person. No, we always start with Stacy.
Y'all do.
We always start with Stacy. Stacy Higginbotham, your random pick of the week.
It is random. I'm looking around. I'm looking at my desk.
Oh, geez.
What do I have?
You don't have to do one. It's not required. It's not.
I don't know why
look
I
around.
blinked today.
I know that feeling where you're just going quick. What do I have? What do I have? I have a Melissa Etheridge Amazon Echo show.
Yeah, let's do the Billie Eilish thing. Can I retroactively do Billie Eilish?
Yeah, go back in time.
Wait a minute. I got one. Wait a minute.
Or
I'm going
wait.
to go get it. Because I got it right here. Hold on a second.
The Billie Eilish one?
Excuse me, Stacy. Pardon me.
Oh, boy. What's he going to come back with?
And there
This
goes
is already going really well. Yeah.
I have in my hands. Oh, I could have gone around the back. I have. Where's my hand? Here it is. This is. I'll do this for Stacy. This is Stacy's pick of the week. It is my Henri the Chihuahua Amazon Echo.
Wow.
How about that?
Courtesy of
Echo
Mr.
Show.
Micah Sargent.
Only $50 extra.
Where did that come from? What is that? I'm so confused.
That looks like a Micah Sargentism.
I think Micah must have made this. But this is just how easy it would be to make a Billie Eilish Echo show.
That's what I'm saying. Shutterfly, like they're missing opportunity.
I think
you
it's just
get
a little.
your mouse
I think
pad
you just
and
printed
you
a
get your
sleeve.
Yeah.
Just printed a little sleeve.
Could you do it for your Nest audios? Because I want to do that because they could be prettier.
It's the Henri Echo.
Henri Echo.
Henri Echo. That's Stacy's pick of the week, ladies and gentlemen.
Excellent.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
I have failed, y'all. I'm sorry. Next
I don't
week
care.
I'll be back with something good.
I never have a pick, so it's okay. I couldn't complain. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jason Howell, are you going to do anything? Do you want to do something?
Sure. Yeah, well, yeah. So I kind of had that moment earlier today too, where I was like, "What the heck am I going to bring on?" But then I realized yesterday we had an event. If you were watching, I think it was during Security Now.
Yes.
That there was a fire event in the area, and it was actually pretty close to the studio.
I had to stop the show and say, we just want to save what we've done so far in case we suddenly have to leave.
Yep.
We got an evacuation warning.
Kind of crazy, That's a little too close to home.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I've been using an app lately, and honestly, actually, now that I say this, I don't know if it's like only it's only Northern California or only California itself, but basically, I've been using an app that shows fire events. So when something comes up, and it's called, by the way, Watch Duty, but when a fire event is reported, I've found that this app updates super quick, and I get a notification right away. So when the fire event happened, I was notified on my phone very, very soon after it happened. It was the Ormsby fire. I think that was it.
Yes.
And, yep. And so I got a notification as it went along. Like you can subscribe via text message, and I'm sure we all do, at least here in this area, to the Nixle updates. This is kind of similar, but it's embedded into the app, and you can kind of go around the map and find other fire events in the area. It can be a little slow to update, but eventually you can find. Yeah, it's really slow to update. I'm not really seeing some of the other ones right now. At least it's showing the one that from yesterday. But it gives you a little bit of the information. It tells you kind of where it's at right now as far as progress is concerned. Is it contained? Is it not? The percentage, that sort of stuff.
I wish
right now,
we had
obviously.
this yesterday. That's great.
Yeah, I've found it to be pretty reliable.
Is it only fires, or is it all natural disasters?
This is just fires, and I'm actually thinking now, if I go into settings here for notifications, okay, so it is limited to this area. So it's probably not very useful to most anybody listening or watching. But if you're in the Bay Area, you want an app like this because holy cow, these fires, they suck.
And they move fast, which is why they evacuated, I think, 900 homes yesterday in our area because they move fast and you don't have time to get out. So that's good. I like watching.
Scary stuff.
Yeah.
But there are a number of apps that I found on the Play Store that track fires, and I'm sure there are apps that track other natural disasters and everything too. It's just we happen to live in fire country apparently now. And I've tried some of the other ones, and they're really slow and kind of choppy and everything. This is kind of the best one that I've found so far. So
D. Claire,
it's called Watch Duty,
who lives in our area and is a viewer, was filling me in on the Ormsby fire yesterday because D. Claire in the IRC chat room was watching Watch Duty and knew what was going on. So
there you go.
So proof of concept yesterday.
Yay.
Thank you, D.
Wow. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah. Or is it DC Lair? I don't know.
Declare?
Declare, I get it. I declare it's time for Aunt Pruitt's Pick of the Week, sir.
I swear, you and that Southern Georgia accent kills me every time.
Well, I declare, sir, it is time, my friend, for your Pick of the Week.
I just added this first one here, Future Moments, because Mr. Howell is on. You've ever heard of Future Moments?
Nope.
Mr. Howell?
Oh.
Future Moments?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
They
believe
do a lot of mobile apps for content creators to do music and videos and things of that nature.
Oh.
But just recently, they've been able to port their iOS apps over to Mac OS. I saw a press release for that like the day or so ago. And made me think about you because you and your music production stuff. So
yeah,
maybe it's something of interest for you, sir.
Look at this mic swap, which models well-known microphones. I think that's kind of... So you could have an old-timey radio mic, a Shure SM58, an SM7B, a Sony lavalier. I'm going to have to play with this to see how...
God, this is the nerdiest thing I've ever seen.
It's so nerdy, but I love the idea.
Yeah. It's great.
You can have Studio G Room A or Studio J Room B.
I saw it and I was like, man, I always see these cool things for the iOS side of thing. I never see it on the Android
So now
side.
on Android, but mic swap is... I'm going to steal this one, boy. Let me go look at the Android, see what they got here. Audio Fix, Video Master, Hear Boost, and Video Verb. Let's see what these do. Audio Fix.
Video Verb. I believe that adds reverb.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, reverb to the sound.
Boost,
of your
improve the
video.
audio in your video. Video reverb. Hello.
Oh, but Android doesn't have the mic swap?
No.
Nope.
No.
Everybody just sort of went,
Well, this one looks like you can import a video, adjust the volume, use a 6-band equalizer. This is nice. This is Video Master. So it's all audio, it sounds like. Hear Boost, which enhances.
So it's swapping what the mic on the phone? Can I swap the mic on the phone for a Telefunken U47?
Yeah, if you could swipe the mic on your phone for a $2,000 microphone, wow.
And it'll sound just like the real thing. Just like.
We'll see. I'm going to download it because that's a cool idea. I like the idea.
Yeah, check it out.
It is.
I doubt it's.
I'm not on Mac OS, so I don't know. But, I just thought I'd share this. I thought of Mr. Jason when I saw that.
Thank you.
Love it.
But my other pick, I actually had it here. I've been playing with these Marshall monitors, the Marshall Monitors 2 with the active noise cancellation. I tend to get a little bit leery about headphones because it's like everybody says they sound good, and most of the time they don't. The price of these were a little bit pricey when I first looked at it, and then I tried them out and I said, okay, they actually do sound pretty good, even if they're Bluetooth and wireless like this, or I can plug them into my computer and monitor that way. I listened to them with checking out some Hans Zimmer, because that's like my standard test, is to see how things sound with all of the different frequencies from 20 hertz up to 20 kilohertz. Make sure everything's coming through. It's got a flat profile, allegedly. So you're going to hear a little bit more in mid and the lows when you're enjoying your music. So that might throw some people off, because a lot of people, they either want it super duper bass heavy, or they want it a little bit more in the upper tier, the higher frequencies. But yeah, I tried those out, and I let the hardheads try them out. And if they like them, they must sound pretty good. And those are the Marshall Monitor 2 with active noise cancellation. I don't like the little, Assistant. You see that little yellow thing on the...
There? Yeah, what is that, volume?
That's just a control knob. I think that's a little finicky. Yeah. I think they could design that a little bit better, but from an audio quality standpoint, yeah, they do pretty good.
I kind of like the retro look. They're kind of cool looking. Yeah. Marshall, is that the Marshall amp, folks? It must be.
Yeah, it's the
same. It is.
Yeah, it's the same font.
So they're following the style of their amps with the gold and the black. I like how it collapses. That's really nice. Sometimes those headphones.
that was quite nice. See,
that is expensive, but dang, okay.
You know, it's actually not expensive for good headphones.
I know. And I'm about to kill these headphones. So,
but that's the thing.
$319.99. Yeah,
people pay for Beats for the same amount of money.
Price. They're not very good.
I don't
sound that good.
No, they're not very good.
They don't sound that good. But these
I will check them out. That sounds great.
And they're hardhead approved. So
hardhead approved. Finally, a plug for your Instagram. What are you posting these days on the Insta?
Just little random stuff here and there. Still shooting some stuff at the football games.
I loved this picture. I saw this. I really like this picture.
Yeah.
Are you sure the white balance isn't off?
It's definitely off, but it's okay.
I mean, I see that red popping, man.
That's color grading.
Oh, it's grading. Oh, that's cute. That's definitely shaded to the blue. But I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to, because that would be wrong.
No. That's all right. Give it to me. I can take it.
No, these are beautiful shots. I love your moon, by the way. I don't know how you got that. That is a very hard shot. That was actually a time lapse, and it took a long time and a lot of trial and error putting that together. We had a full moon last night, right? This was a couple of nights ago.
No, I actually shot that a little while back, and just been sort of tweaking it because, like you said, it's pretty difficult, and then you have all the noise reduction to deal with.
So hard.
It's not easy.
On the Insta.
Follow me on Instagram @_Pruitt.
Because Stacy failed us so badly with her picks of the week, I have two courtesy of the chat room. How about that? Baratunde Thurston, good friend of the network, would love Baratunde. I had his book, How to Be Black. We interviewed him when it came out on Triangulation. Apparently, he just got greenlit for an animated version by ABC. It's in development right now.
Oh, right.
This is great. He's going to write and executive produce alongside Courtney Lilly, who is the producer and writer known for Arrested Development and The Cleveland Show. Pretty good deal.
Awesome.
Lawrence Fishburne will executive produce. Even better. Same people, Cinema Gypsy Productions, that did Blackish, Grownish, and Mixed-ish. I hope they don't call it How to Be Blackish, but I'm sure they wouldn't. So I think that's really good news for a very good friend and a very talented guy, and so we'll be watching for that. And here's something for you, Stacy, that I thought you might be interested. Again, this is from the chat room. Thank you, Scooter X, for the Baratunde pick, and thank you, I forgot who it was for this. Hey, read with Reese's Book Club. I think you'd like to do this with your
y'all are
daughter.
trolling me on the show, not just in the chat now, y'all.
Oh, Reese Witherspoon. I didn't know she grew up in Venezuela. She said, because I was in Venezuela, I had an insatiable appetite for reading, from fictional novels to computer science manuals. What? So this is something she did with her young kids. She's partnered with Google to offer a hands-free immersive reading experience on Nest smart speakers, smart display, and assistant-enabled mobile devices in English-speaking countries around the world. You can discover Reese Witherspoon's monthly book picks, take a quiz for personalized book recommendations, and get exclusive commentary about each book from Reese herself. I guess she doesn't read the book, but still.
No, that would be... You know what? Here's a skill that I would actually value. I hate books with unreliable narrators, but you can't put that on the book cover because that would destroy the people who like it, right? But I hate them. So if I could just ask Google, hey, does this book have an unreliable narrator? Google could tell me yes or no.
What's an unreliable narrator? What does that mean? You mean bad?
God, it's like the worst Deus Ex Machina ever. It's like, oh my God, I was drunk the whole time.
Oh, just poorly written. Like I woke up and it was all a dream, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean the trope has been like, the person who's telling, the narrator's been like, oh, I was mentally ill the whole time, so you can't trust anything I said, is basically the idea. So it's not just, it's a dream. It's like I was drunk, I was mentally disturbed. Freaking hate them. Like The Girl in the Train is the first one.
That's a perfect example, and it ruined the book for me. I agree with you 100%. Because then all of a sudden you realize, well, nothing I've been reading is true. Maybe it could all be untrue. Very frustrating. I'm with you on that.
I hate them. They're a big trend, and I like reading airport-style thrillers because
that's the thing. It's a trend. Easy. They're going to keep doing that.
It's a trend since the 16th century.
Okay, well, yeah, but
it's not something brand new. Let's put it that way. I looked it up on Wikipedia, and let's see what they say here. The term was coined. Oh, okay, it's not that old, not that new. Old. It was coined in 1961, but I think unreliable narrators have been around for a while, like Baron Munchausen's tale of being swallowed by a whale. That's a good example, and that goes way back. Moll Flanders, also another 19th century novel. So Huck Finn wasn't all that reliable, apparently. Holden Caulfield, well, he wasn't unreliable. He was just innocent.
I was like young and stupid.
Young and dumb. Franz Kafka was a madman. So, yeah, I guess it's not unheard of, yeah.
You can do it well, but a lot of these, and a lot of these are thrillers. Like, I really hate it in a thriller setting. It's fine if you're making some sort of philosophical point about, existential crises.
I think you're right. Girl in a Train's a perfect example where it's something modern and new that they do could throw you a curve. And it's like, oh, yeah, yada.
It's like, if you're writing a mystery, you can't, you're trying to assemble the clues and figure out what's happening and who done it, and then to suddenly just pop in and be like, oh, I lied about everything. That's just weak.
Well, I can tell you right now, no Stacey Higginbotham novel will be like that.
There will be no Stacey Higginbotham novel.
What? Come on. Come on. You have a novel in the desk drawer right there next to the whiskey bottle. I know you do.
Oh, sure.
Gin bottle.
Oh, hey, I put a cocktail in the beer Also, I discovered the beer, wine, and cocktail channel on Club Twit. Y'all are going to see me there all the time.
I didn't start that channel.
So many things to
Let me
talk
think.
about.
Who might have started the beer, wine, and cocktail channel on Club Twit? I wonder who did that. Welcome to our new community moderator. Mandy the Clown says, is kombucha allowed? Yes, it's allowed. That's just one of many reasons you might want to join Club Twit. It's not just talk about Twitch shows, although we do have a chat room going in Club Twit for every Twitch show. Discord is such a great place to hang out, and I think we've all made new friends. I know I have in our Club Twit Discord. Members only. Oh, did you add food, cooking, barbecue, and grilling?
No comment.
So I was the one who did Linux, ham radio.
No, I put ham radio.
Oh, you did? Oh, good.
I put ham radio.
Nice. So you have a few geeky ones in there. That's nice. It's really fun. So it's a great community, great place to hang. If there's other benefits besides the kind of warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that you're supporting Twit. You're keeping our shows going, keeping our hosts employed. Club Twit also gives you ad-free versions. Yeah, Ant likes that. Ad-free versions of every show we do, audio and video. You get access to the Discord server and the Twit Plus feed, which is content that doesn't make it into other shows. Things like our Untitled Linux show and the Giz Fizz. And Lisa and I are going to do an Ask Me Anything. Is it this week or next week?
No, sir. No, sir. You got a little while.
You're going to do a Let's Play this week, do trivia or something, right?
Yeah, we're playing games Friday after Twilight,
Nice.
September 24th, roughly 3 p.m. Pacific.
Says Community Manager Ant Pruitt. So there's a lot going on in Club Twit. $7 a month gains full access. Just go to twit.tv/club. Twit. And for those of you who just want to buy one show, like say you only listen to this show and that's all you care about, we are going to set up a way to subscribe through Apple Podcasts to ad-free versions of just a single show. It'll cost a little bit less. So if that's your jam. The nice thing about Club Twit, it's month to month. So $7. If you don't like it, cancel at any time and you're done. But I think it's a great place to go, and I think it's a great way to support what we're doing. Twit.tv/club twit. I had mentioned that the cruise that Lisa and I were going to go on to Asia in January was canceled. And Chris in Miami said, what, you've canceled the Twit cruise? No, we have not. That's coming up this next summer to Alaska. Cruise.twit.tv if you want to join Lisa and me, Paul Thurrott and his wife. We're going to go to Alaska on the Holland America Eurodom. It's going to be a lot of fun, beautiful ship. And we're going to have a welcome cocktail party, a farewell cocktail party, a lecture in between. And I think we're going to do some photo walks and lots of fun stuff like that. So I've been on this cruise, and it's wonderful. I think you'll enjoy it. That is still on. Go to cruise.twit.tv for more information. We do this show every Wednesday at about 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. If you like to watch live, there's a live audio or video stream available for you at twit.tv/live. After the fact, we have on-demand versions of the show at twit.tv/twig. And, of course, the best way to subscribe to any podcast, including all of ours, is to use a podcast application, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and subscribe. That way you get it automatically. You don't have to think about it. You can listen to it whenever you're in the mood. All of our shows are available that way. And if, like the three I mentioned, your podcast player supports reviews, please leave us a 5-star review. Help spread the word so everybody knows about This Week in Google. Thanks to Stacey Higginbotham, Stacey on IoT.com. Don't forget the podcast with Kevin Tofel, for which she does plug in the fiber. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
Okay, no,
she
I did not. Okay, I already bought the cable. Next week, it'll be taped down. Burke will no longer hate me because I can't. I mean, you can make fun of me, Leo.
Drill some holes in the wall and bring it around.
That's it.
You think Andrew drills the holes in our house? I brought the power tools into the marriage. Come on, man.
Now I have two possible titles. Did you plug it in for Tofel, or I brought the power tools into the marriage? Both of those would be excellent. Both of those would be great. Thank you, Stacey. Go have some waffles. Thanks so much, Jason Howell, for filling in. It's always great to have you on the show. Jeff couldn't make it this week, but Jason is at All About Android, twit.tv/AAA. He hosts Tech News Weekly with Micah Sargent every Thursday. Great way to get more tech news, interviews with some of the biggest and most interesting people in tech. Twit.tv/TNW. And, of course, Ant Pruitt, hands-on photography, twit.tv/hop. Great to have all of yous. Wonderful guys. Did I mention your Instagram? I think I forgot. Is Ant_Pruitt, Pruitt.
I think you kind of, sir.
Yeah, give you the plug. You're also Ant_Pruitt on the Twitter. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time. Have a great week on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.
Android is constantly evolving, and if you're part of the Android faithful, then you'll be just as excited about it as I am. I'm Jason Howell, host of All About Android, along with my co-hosts Florence Ion and Ron Richards, where every week we cover the news, we cover the hardware, and we cover the apps that are driving the Android ecosystem. Plus, we invite people who are writing about Android, talking about Android, and making Android onto the show. Every Tuesday at twit.tv, look for All About Android.